Give me that, you stupid bitch. What a lovely charity event. I suppose you're all feeling pretty good about yourselves, hmm? What have you done? You've raised $300 by spending $500,000 on filet mignon and crystal glasses. Look at you, Vin dipshit. You say fat shaming is wrong, so in response you show off your abs. You're the one fat shaming, idiot! What's the matter with you people? You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus. We eat too much. We take our spoiled lives for granted. Feel a little bad about it sometimes. No. You want to put all your shit up on the internet and have every single person say, hooray for you. Fuck you. You're all pricks.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Rollin' 20s. We are the show that's opening our own zoo with our featured Thundercat exhibit. We're feeding them silver hawks. I am Jeremy.
Jesse.
And V.
Remember, you can subscribe to this show and several others in the MSP library at missionstarpodcast.com. You can like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on iTunes and on Stitcher. Follow us on Twitter at the Rolling 20s. You can send us any fan mail, suggestions for the show, or hate mail at mspfreight@yahoo.com. The music you heard is by Machina Supremacy. You can find more of their discography for free download at machinasupremacy.com, as well as their latest couple of albums on amazon.com. The clip you heard, not exactly comedy, but I think it's poignant. Reality crashes a party from a recent episode of South Park. South Park airs Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock on Comedy Central. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Jesse, did I take you completely by surprise with that Thundercats and feeding him Silverhawk stuff? Because I think I stunted you there.
I wonder if you got Street Sharks doing valet.
That's at our water park. You know, we're feeding them tiger sharks, but that's a whole different thing. No, it's just, it has been a week. I have been trying to get ready for Kamikaze Anime Los Angeles New Year's. You know, usually there's not this much stuff in my calendar at the end of the year, but this year is a little different for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, is anybody building on any decent New Year's plans, or are you just playing it by ear?
I usually play these holidays by ear. I've been doing that for at least 15 years.
I
don't plan for anything.
I'm used to your household gravitating around the home of the twins you live with.
They don't live in the same house anymore. So.
Oh, so it's just not convenient anymore?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know, everyone's just, life happens and everyone's just kind of going separate directions.
Yeah, I hear you. What about you, V? What are you doing for New Year's?
I don't usually have any specific plans, so
Not at
unless there's like a Star Trek marathon going on.
You have Netflix. There's always a Star Trek marathon going on.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, I'm pretty boring. My New Year's plans are usually play video games.
Yeah,
Mine is
like
go to sleep at a reasonable time.
Yeah, I'm like Jesse. Usually New Year's, I go to sleep early. I wake up the next day. I do a lot of things before noon because people are so hungover, they don't get out and do stuff. It's amazing.
I bet.
Oh, what was it? At the beginning of this year, I went to my local mall and did a little bit of window shopping as well as did some necessary errand stuff. And the place was empty. You could have heard a mouse fart. It was so quiet in there.
Wow.
You know, even the workers were unengaging. You know, even the people who usually like spray you with perfume as you walk by, they just kind of looked into the bright lights and go, "Oh my God, last night was so awesome. Today is awful. Oh." So I found it entertaining and relaxing for once.
What, watching other people suffer?
Well, I always find that relaxing. The subject of this week is Peter David's run on She-Hulk, specifically issues 20 through 26. We'll get to that in a little bit. And first off, we have no Kickstarter, so we'll get right into the video game news. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for most people, but we'll see. Arkham Knight, Batman Arkham Knight, the game that was much maligned on the PC, had so many technical issues it needed to be patched. It's been said that the Arkham Knight will be back up for sale on the PC as of October 28th.
Yeah.
So the commercial release is back on, finally. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because it's one of those cases where it might be too little too late. It's been, what, a good 3 months since they took it off the market entirely?
Well, they took it off for PC.
Right. But there's also been the PS4 and Xbox, which, as far as I heard, enjoyed robust sales without nearly the amount of technical difficulty that the PC version had.
Well, there are just some people are just so dedicated to PC that they don't own the other two. So some people just...
I imagine
Run
it'll
it.
still get that.
Well, the sale continues as of 1 p.m. Eastern Time this coming Wednesday. The content patch includes a photo mode, big head mode, character selection, and AR challenges. Season pass holders will have access to all story packs released so far, excluding console exclusives.
Yeah.
What?
Exclusives in general just are stupid.
Hey,
Agreed.
you know, it's how some people roll. What can you do about it? This is one of the ways these companies make serious money these days. Square Enix had some very interesting news over the past week.
No?
Yeah, from their annual report to their shareholders, they have announced that they're going to be revitalizing existing intellectual properties.
Like?
So,
They don't get very specific. What they said was, quote, "We will revitalize some of our strong IPs in ways that meet the needs of the modern gaming market. For example, we'll take an IP developed for earlier generations of game consoles and recreate it for the latest consoles, while also proactively developing versions for play on smart devices. In addition, we'll also explore possibilities including VR and other new platforms. We want our longtime fans to relish reliving past experiences with a freshness that only the latest technology can provide, while at the same time have a new customer enjoy the IP as though it were brand new. By not only optimizing single pieces of intellectual property for single platforms, but also rolling out IP in a multidimensional manner to meet the needs of the modern market, we believe we can deliver exciting new experiences," unquote.
This better not be a polish and a spit shine to these old titles.
Well, we already discussed it has to be more than that. I mean, Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
exactly,
VII is
but-
being rebuilt from the ground up, for frick's sake.
Thank God.
I just wonder what they mean and how they're going to do it, because if they're going to release a new console version of Chrono Trigger, that's awesome. If they're going to release a smartphone version of Chrono Trigger, I hate your guts.
I don't think that's what they're going to do. It seems like the easiest thing to do.
It is the easiest thing to do, and that's why I'm very, 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 very concerned.
yeah, there has been a lot of, like, I don't disagree with how this has been treated for Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 and Icewind Dale, but
Well, unfortunately, that's the way Square Enix rolls these days, is that most often when they say they're going to revitalize something, that usually means a smartphone version is coming.
just a smartphone version, not even like a console or
That's
enhanced.
They do console and they do standard games, but it seems like most of the ways they make their money right now is in fracking smartphone games. It seems to be where they make their bones for most of their re-releases these days. That could change, but we won't know until we actually see what the plan is.
Hopefully they're not asking for $15.
Well,
I've
probably
been looking at all the Final Fantasy games. They want $15 for each of them.
Well, probably 20. Further up in video game news, there is a new kind of game out by a dev studio called Kiro's Games. They're doing something called Orion, Legacy of the Kori Odan. It's a game featuring African mythology.
Really?
Ah,
Yeah.
that's new.
They have released a YouTube. Kiro means spiritual vision in Swahili, and the sense of mission comes across when the studio founder, Oliver Madaiba, talks about Orion. He says, quote, "In Orion, with the story scenario, there's a symbolic analogy between the trials of Enzo and Irene and the common history of Africa and our place in the stakes of the world," unquote. You curious to see what this is all about?
Definitely. I'm so sick of the standard mythologies that we've seen so far.
What, Eastern, Western, Greece?
Yeah, damn
Yeah.
you, Norse, Greek, and Japanese. Shut the hell up with your gods. I want to see some dark gods.
Not Cthulhu.
Well, he's a different kind of dark. But either way, I sent the video. Instant replay
That
with
Black
Evan
Panther?
Narciss. It looks like it's supposed to be with glasses.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so it's going to be very flash-based, it looks like.
hmm
Yeah, this looks kind of dated, but not in a bad way
Well-
necessarily.
Well, keep in mind, this is alpha footage. This is
Fair
very
enough.
early. And it looks like there's a strong possibility that deeper animations and colors are going to be added here.
Hopefully.
Well, this would be just the bare bones of the game, though, wouldn't it? If it's at the alpha level.
Playing through the... Oh, this is the demo. Action RPG. Oh, well, there's a lot of reading to do.
Yeah, he's standing there thinking a lot.
Right, it sounds like an anime.
Come on, click, click, click. Oh, okay, here we go. This is how you move. Left stick.
So I guess this is just for console.
Maybe, maybe not. A lot of third parties will make computer controllers these days.
Well, definitely compatible with the Xbox controller, considering the buttons we're seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly. It's well built for a third-party
So far,
game.
I'm not seeing a lot of mythology, just some dude getting married.
Well, dudes getting married, that's a myth. We all know this. A very vibrant background he's put together, that's for sure.
This does have a feel for old school JRPG, though.
Really? Because it reminds me a little bit of like a dark-skinned version of Avatar so far.
I say
Kind of
mechanic-wise,
reminded
it reminds me of
Express.
JRPG.
Zama's downtown. Watch what you're going to do with that lady, man.
I was
Don't
just
touch.
thinking that.
Oh yeah, this definitely reminds me of just exploring the towns.
Expository dialogue! We must rescue my family! It's very pretty so far. I wish I had a straight trailer, though, because gameplay footage
Yeah.
at this phase won't tell you very much.
Yeah.
Elfina. Mea Beyaye.
So
It
far,
is-
apparently, we're just talking to all the villagers ever.
Yeah, it's standard RPG rules. Talk to everyone.
Yeah,
Yep.
which of you has the rupees, goddammit?
Why don't you check that pot over there?
Oh yeah, smash everything.
Walk into every house and steal everything.
Yep, right in front of them. It's a good
Okay.
thing nobody locks their doors.
What doors?
Everybody locks their doors. They don't tell you the secret is you bash it through with your sword. I think I'm going to stop there because I have a
Yeah.
feeling this will take a while.
Yeah.
But I am interested to see where that goes in benchmarks anyway. I'd like to see what the beta looks like.
I still want to see more about what they're referring to as far as mythology goes. Less gameplay.
Well, I do have a different kind of game that appears to be headed towards the beta phase. It's called Infinity Battlescape. This game has been in development for about 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
As Duke Nukem Forever.
Well, sort of. The game was originally titled Infinity: The Quest for Earth. It was inspired by titles like Frontier Elite 2 to let you roam in a galaxy, fly from a planet's surface into space with no interruption or loading screens. So, after some stiff competition during the development of this game, the creator of it, Flavian Brabon, has retooled Infinity's design to something more manageable and is now called Infinity Battlescape. It is now not a never-ending space MMO, it's replaced by a multiplayer space combat game. I admit, I'm curious to see what he's built here. It's sad that he's not able to fulfill what he wanted to, for sure, but gotta give the guy credit. He never gave the frack up, you know? Well, we'll see if this is more exciting. I sent the video. The following footage was recorded entirely in the iNove engine, iNove Studios. He built his own engine?
Apparently.
Wow, no wonder it took you so damn long.
Really? Soria Mining
Props to
Operation, Wraith System, Starfold Confederacy Space.
planet is pretty.
Yeah. I can see your house from here. I was waiting to see if it was going to draw like a wake across the rings there.
SCS Orion, this is Intrepid. Over. Intrepid, this is SCS Orion. Send your traffic over.
Oh no, the Fallen have been here.
We appreciate Green 5. The station has been destroyed. Forensic scan for survivors. Over.
Those planets are awfully close together.
Seems
Yeah.
like it. Maybe a moon is habitable.
That
Which
did
one's
not
the
look
moon,
like
then?
a moon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's too big to be a space station.
Orion, this is the Intrepid. All scans are negative. No survivors.
Kind of looks like that ring is the remnants of a moon.
That could be. 22 hours earlier. Oh, we get to see what destroyed ship?
Oh, we're planet side now.
Wow.
28011, you're clear for takeoff.
Now, cinematics or in-game footage.
I like the
Go,
music.
Master Chief, go!
Very cinematic music going on.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And apparently the Kickstarter for this game is online now. He's going up, up, up! Ooh. Oh, this would be disorienting in VR.
Oh, wow. Alright.
I wonder if he intended it for that. I like the puttering sound.
Suspiciously like a Millennium Falcon to me.
It reminds me more of the Defiant from Deep Space Nine.
Kind of reminds me of the Nolan Batmobile
Good
without
point.
the wheels.
Okay,
Just in
okay,
basic shape.
fine. We all have nerd references to give. I get it. Whoa.
That-
Asteroid
oh.
mining.
Yep.
And he's headed to the Little Pony planet.
What the hell makes it so purple?
Oxidation, rainbows, love, I don't
That
know.
was kind of
Look at all the
hardcore.
D20s.
Right?
So is that why the station was destroyed? Somebody decided to roll?
Yeah, critical fail. 3 times in a row.
Why is this douchebag flying underneath every strut he can find?
Because he's Maverick.
Control. We're under attack by enemy warships. Clear the system.
For
Enemy
fun.
warships. Ooh. Wow.
I can't tell if those are ships or missiles.
Both.
Oh, that's... There are the ships.
Wow. Nice particle physics. Oh, that looks horrific.
I'm really sucked into this.
Oh shit.
And right across the bow.
Yeah, that was a little too close. He's still getting shot at. Okay, you got my attention.
Yeah.
I'd like to see a little more gameplay.
I would like to see that as well.
Seems like that's what we saw as gameplay physics.
I don't know. That could just be cinematics, but we'll see.
It's hard to see without seeing like a HUD. It's just
Yeah.
it's hard to tell.
So, do you remember a couple weeks ago we talked about how one of the employees from DraftKings got in trouble for using his own website to win money?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Nevada has been investigating what's going on with DraftKings, and as a result, what they're also doing at the same time is Nevada is now cracking down on video games.
Really?
Okay. What exactly? How are they cracking down?
Because now they're checking into fantasy esports sites, like Vulcan.
Hmm.
So the Nevada Gaming Control Board says that anyone trying to run pay-to-play daily fantasy sports in the state now needs a license.
Hmm.
In the States?
Yes.
Oh.
In the state of Nevada, anyway.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
The statement also reads that Vulcan users residing in Nevada can no longer participate in paid fantasy contests on our site. Wow, it effectively shut them down.
Yeah, we're just not going to deal with you guys unless you pay us.
Yeah, at least within the state, anyway. I didn't know there was fantasy esports. So I'm playing a game about people playing a game. That just seems wacky to me on so many levels.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Exactly what did they do?
Well, a member of DraftKings apparently has put up $35 of his own money and played on his own website. In other words, he had inside information as to which players to pick in a certain league, and he ended up winning he paid $25 and he won $350,000 by working his own site.
Right.
Which is illegal, and that because they found him out, the Nevada Gaming Commission is now looking into all fantasy sites, regardless of what sport they follow, which includes esport fantasy sites now.
And it takes one person to screw everything up.
Yep. And last up in video game news, the arcade racer has evolved yet again.
Really?
Yeah, you remember when it used to be just stuff like Pole Position was interesting, when it was just stand-up machines. Then Virtua Racer and Daytona came out with those large-ass simulators and the huge screens.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's taken another step forward with Namco's Real Drive. They've created a new cabinet system for an arcade driving experience like no other. Take a look at this image. It reminds me of the Star Wars Battle Pod. It comes complete with a door and a little bit of privacy as you play the game, but it does feature about 120, 140 degree wraparound monitor in front of you, as well as a physical steering wheel for you to take hold of.
Good. I think that's peripheral vision.
You know, I tried one of the Star Wars Battle Pods. It was an interesting play, but the way the screen played with my peripheral vision, it was giving me motion problems. Take a look at this, though. Look at the way this whole thing wraps around like you're actually sitting in a vehicle.
Yeah, if it was giving you motion sickness, it wasn't giving you enough field of view.
I think that was the
looks
problem.
awesome.
Was that it was the entirety of my field of view. Between that and I have a need for not vision glasses, but I have a need for corrective glasses, and I haven't been able to afford that yet. That might have been my problem.
Well, the other thing is the motions you're seeing with your own vision was not corresponding with the rest of your senses.
That could also be. I was in a Dave & Buster's at the time. I may have been too busy smelling steak. Hey, you have your theories. I have mine. From there, we'll go into Marvel Media News. We talk about the Marvel properties that don't end up on the comic book pages, but instead go to video games, TV, movies, Netflix, things like that. And Mark Ruffalo is now speaking out a bit about his upcoming role in Thor Ragnarok.
Well,
It's been revealed that, Ruffalo is playing Bruce Banner in the Hulk for the film. And the Huffington Post sat down and asked Ruffalo, what are you doing in this movie? And he gave a very direct answer. He said, quote, "I play Dr. Bruce Banner, and occasionally I turn into a big green monster," unquote.
Basically, what everyone already knows.
Yeah. He did expand a little bit more. He said, quote, "I feel like there's a lot of cool stuff to explore still, especially the relationship between Banner and the Hulk. Hopefully, we'll see the two of them in a scene together. That would be cool," unquote. It's happened very rarely, but stuff like that has occurred.
How would they do that?
The comics actually did that before. If not, I've seen them do one of their animated films.
It's happened in an animated film where Loki separated the Hulk from Banner.
Yep.
There's also been a couple of comic book stories where, because of electronic surrogates that are programmed to think like one or the other, the Hulk and Banner have had a couple short conversations.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Very short. But I do like the idea of on screen, Bruce Banner trying to confront the Hulk and seeing how that goes. Hoo, 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 hoo. That gave me a little chill.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also have a little bit of news about Captain America: Civil War. The actor playing Baron Zemo in the movie. God, Daniel Bruhl. I'm sorry. He said that his character Baron Zemo will not be wearing that infamous purple sock mask that he has in the comics.
Purple
That's
sock
fine.
mask?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those.
Do I
The
want to know?
Well, the mask comes across very well in comic books, but I could see that not exactly doing well when it comes to a movie. This thing would look like a gigantic purple ski mask. I sent you an image just for reference, so you have an idea as to what he's talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
but I can see why that would not translate well into...
Yeah, he looks like a poor man's Spider-Man.
But
But
drink that.
there is actually a ventilation system through the mask. It's stuck to his head due to some kind of adhesive accident. So he can actually drink through it. Eating, I don't know about. He says, quote, he does not wear the mask. You'd be surprised, it's different than what you'd think. It's loosely connected to this character, but what I like about the Marvel guys, some of the characters and things they're dealing with always reference current events, so my character's from a different area than you'd think, unquote. Apparently, in that last statement, he was referring to the fact that the character of Baron Zemo in the Marvel movies may not be a fascist Nazi as he's been portrayed in the comics. He may be coming from a different area of the world. So, we will see what that means. I mean, the movie comes out in, God, like 7 months already. Barely have time to breathe before the next movie comes out. Speaking of which, Peyton Reed, the guy who directed the Ant-Man movie, Marvel Entertainment's currently in negotiations for him to direct the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie. The sequel to Ant-Man. They want him to come back and do it again.
Well, I think he did a good job, so I'm all for it.
Well, to those people who think it's unfounded, Ant-Man and the Wasp already has Paul Rudd and Evangeline Lilly locked in to reprise their roles. Michael Douglas said he only signed for one movie, but he'd be open for more. And after opening in China, so far Ant-Man has made $455 million so far.
Nice.
So it is turning into a robust movie when it comes to Marvel's overall take. Speaking of which, Ant-Man is at the point it is because it opened extremely well in frackin' China.
Really?
Yes, Ant-Man and its opening weekend last weekend in China took in $43.2 million over a 3-day weekend.
Fuck.
The only other movie or the only other Marvel movie to take in more than that in China is Age of Ultron, which took in $156 million earlier this year.
Damn.
So Ant-Man apparently is a big hit overseas.
Wonder why.
Why?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great, but
Maybe it's just the concept. You know, Ant-Man was always one of those things in comics that I don't think did well because what's the description of the power? He shrinks. That's it. You know, maybe it's just because European and Pacific countries, they have a better imagination than we do about these things.
Or
Goodness-
different perspective.
Well, goodness knows their pantheons are richer. You know, they get to choose from multiple gods. We just have the one boring guy.
well, that's not accounting like Celtic and Norse and
There you go.
for all
Yep.
that.
And they get to fight occasionally, which is just cool. But speaking of this Chinese opening for Marvel, apparently Marvel Entertainment is looking to create a new group of superheroes that they can market directly to the Chinese markets.
Okay.
Marvel's manager of licensed publishing, Jeffrey Reingold, and VP of animation, Steve Wacker, told the audience that Marvel is working on creating characters that will appeal to Chinese markets. Quote, we have felt the passion of Chinese fans. As long as there is demand in the market, it's possible to add Chinese elements and culture to Marvel products and create Chinese heroes and stories. Unquote. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
are they
shoot.
going to base it off Chinese mythology or just appeal to it?
Not
Could be a
mythology, but
com-
appeal to their culture.
Right, it's kind of a combination of the two. It's not like they're going to suddenly take, you know, characters like Luke Cage and turn him into a large Chinese man. They're talking about
Hopefully.
adding they're talking about adding brand new characters to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least, that are Chinese in origin or have connections to Chinese culture. Good example is they still haven't cast, or as far as I know, finished the script for Iron Fist, so they could actually add a little bit more Chinese mythology to a character like that. You know, a guy who is rich, goes away, learns kung fu, and comes back to kick ass.
Chuck Norris?
He didn't learn kung fu; he learned karate.
Oh.
You know which stereotype you're quoting, man. And there's been a little bit of a flap recently in regards to, what do you call it? In regards to the Black Panther film. Mm-hmm. There's an argument that started, and like most things, I bet this started online, as to a debate of whether or not the director of the Black Panther movie should be black.
What?
Really?
Goodness knows where these things start. I mean, my personal feeling is I don't care. Whomever can tell the best story should be the one to direct it.
Agreed.
Just not Michael Bay.
Well, he probably would be the one to tell the best story, so...
I said best story, not biggest boom.
Exactly.
I mean, the only guy I could say for sure should not direct a Black Panther movie would be Kevin Smith, because goodness knows, a character called Black Panther and penis jokes would be just every frackin' where. One actor is actually kind of brave and weighed in on this himself. Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon for Marvel movies.
Uh-huh.
He said, quote, "I don't think race is important at all. As a director, your job is to tell a story. You know, they didn't get a horse to direct Seabiscuit," unquote.
That's a really good point.
He went on, quote, "The thing is, I don't think the race of the director has to do with their ability to tell a story. I think it's all about the director's ability to be able to relate to that story and do it justice. I think men can direct women, and 2 of my greatest work experiences were with female directors, so I think it all depends. May the best man, or woman, win," unquote.
That is totally a Monty Python reference right there.
Yeah, and I gotta appreciate his backpedal. He caught himself rather adeptly there. You know what? I am done buying Marvel Blu-rays. I made a decision this week. Because I am pissed that I own probably 90% of the movies in the latest Marvel Blu-ray box set, and I want the frackin' box. No, they're releasing the Phase 2 box set this December after Ant-Man comes out. It's going to contain Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, no. Yeah. In order, it's going to contain Iron Man 3, Thor, The Dark World, Captain America Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man, as well as a bonus disc full of special features. It will have a bunch of Marvel keepsakes, including a page from the Book of the Dark Elves, an ancient drawing from the Morag Vault, Avengers and Strike uniform patches, a replica of the Tony Stark tattoo from Iron Man 3, and, to top it all off, do you know what this case is in the shape of?
The tower?
Mjolnir?
The Avengers Tower?
Morag's orb from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
No, I'm dead frackin' serious. The first one looked like the Tesseract in a steel case, like from S.H.I.E.L.D. This one looks like the orb on a pedestal that can be, you can open up half of it to reveal the Power Stone in the middle.
That's cool. I like that.
That's kind of awesome.
I'm pretty goddamn jealous at this point.
How
like I
much
said,
is this?
I didn't actually see an MSRP when I was going through the story. Let me double check. I bet I can find it.
Because I'm right with you. I want this.
It sucks, right? I dutifully buy DVDs, and now this thing comes out, and it just... Ugh. Okay, I don't actually see an MSRP anywhere on here. If I had to guess, I think the last box set was $200.
That makes sense. I would shell out that much for that, though.
$200 for all that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
If I remember correctly, that's how much the prior box set went for. So, god damn it, I'm jealous of everybody I don't know. Well, a veteran actor named Kurtwood Smith is going to be in a recurring role on the new season of Agent Carter. They've only described his role as a major part. They will not detail whom he's supposed to be. He's reportedly going to play an original character who's never been in the comic books called Vernon Masters, a veteran of the U.S. War Department.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, Kirkwood Smith. He's the guy who kept calling people
Red Foreman.
dumbass
From
on
Red
yeah.
70s, yeah.
Yeah, from that 70s show. He was also Clarence Boddicker in the original RoboCop film. You know, he's often miscast as a character actor. I think he's much better than people give him credit for.
I've seen him in something else. I can't place it. I
He's
do
been in-
think he's pretty good.
He's been in a ton of different films and animations.
Oh, wow, him? Yeah,
Yes.
that 70s show.
Yes. And there is a little bit more news about the Jessica Jones show that's going to premiere on November 20th on Netflix. All episodes 1 through 13 will be available at once. And I have a little bit of bad news in that regard.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys are going to have to sit through about 2.5 minutes worth of a full trailer they finally released for this TV show.
Oh, darn.
Oh yeah, your life is horrible.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, just twist my arm.
I'm going to see you in 6 days, so I might just do that.
Ready.
I sent the video.
A big part of the job is looking for the worst in people.
Ah, Beliebers.
Turns out I excel at that.
You a PI?
I'm just trying to make a
Cage.
living. You know, booze costs money. Usually.
Booze costs money.
Usually.
Jessica Jones.
Whoop.
I saw you.
What do you know
I've seen that actor somewhere before, but can't place it.
Mike Coulter's relatively new.
Stop moving, car.
He looks similar to a couple others, though. Oop.
A slow-moving car.
The way I see it, being a hero just puts a target on your back.
Been there, done that.
Still a drinker.
What if there was someone else out there? But his
This is where it gets weird.
People do whatever he wanted.
Freaky, eh?
Oh, she didn't put all her strength into that one, but...
Nope.
What he made me do.
I-
Jess. He isn't here now. Well, he's always here.
I really appreciate the PTSD they're doing with her.
Yes.
Yeah, she's very tortured.
Absolutely.
There he is. There's the Dr. Gone
Ah!
Evil.
Kilgrave leaves a trail of broken people behind him.
You made me jump for hours as high as I could. He said I was never as good as you.
You notice that weird purple hue around that girl's eyes and mouth?
Back. He's coming for me.
Let's start now. Jessica, I'm the only
Dude.
one who matches you.
All those cops holding guns on each other.
Oh my god. God didn't do this. The devil did. And I'm gonna find him.
Come on, Jessica.
Whoa. Creepy stalker shrine.
With me.
I like that they're not
Chills,
really.
man.
Yeah, dude, this is gonna be good.
This is one total mindfuck.
Yeah, that's why when I watch this show, I'm going to watch it with ice cream, because I need something happy. What? I want to keep my brain in one place. I don't want to Heath Ledger myself. Last up in Marvel media news, Marvel is getting into the food business.
What?
According to the Hollywood Reporter, Marvel Entertainment has announced that they're going to have a 3-night pop-up dinner series in China starring chefs Alvin Leong and Chris Cosentino. Chris Cosentino was a former victor on Top Chef Masters. The event will take place in Hong Kong restaurant Bo Innovation, and it's going to feature a new 8-course Marvel-themed meal on each night. I don't know what a Marvel-themed meal is. If they serve gamma pancakes, I'm out.
Shawarma.
Shawarma.
I don't even know what shawarma is. I still never.
You know, I'm still kind of amazed that in this era where comic books are king, that nobody's tried to open up a comic book themed restaurant from either company yet. I've seen treats for both sides in like Malaysia where, trademarks are really lax and everything, but I haven't seen anybody just try to open a restaurant.
Yeah, I know that would work because I've seen a freaking Disney-themed restaurant.
Yeah, well, either they're underguessing the fan base or the fan base just hasn't presented anything to make them think that they'd go out and eat. Which is, goodness knows, it's America's favorite pastime if you follow the weight in this country. From there, we move into DC media news. And news is starting to really come out fast about Batman v Superman. That opens up next July, does it not? Or is it March?
I think it's March.
I think it's March. I think it moved up.
Yeah, it was coincide. It's supposed to open around the same time as.
Originally, it was supposed to
Captain
open on the
America.
exact same day as Civil War, and then finally DC blinked and said, okay, maybe that's a little too powerful. Well, according to Warner Brothers, they said, well, we can open on any day because people will go see comic book movies regardless. Nobody wants to talk about the fact that there was already a movie there when they announced that date, and there was still a movie there when they moved off that date. You know what I mean?
March 25th.
March 25th. God damn it. 4 months? Pretty soon? 5 months.
5 months.
We're getting there.
Ugh. Well, there is new news on the internet about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. In the Total Film magazine, there's new pictures, new details, and new impressions on the film by the cast and crew. And according to executive producer David S. Goyer on the movie, he was giddy over it. He said, quote, "I think it's just the kind of giddiness in being a kid that grew up going to the comic book store every Saturday and reading comic books in which these two epic characters clashed. Just the fact that I got to be involved in something like that is crazy. Much less that I got to be involved in 2 cinematic iterations of Batman is also crazy."
Fanboy wet dream?
Pretty much. Amy Adams also spoke about her experience on the film. Quote, "I haven't seen anything of it except what everybody's seen. They're kind of hard. They're over the course of 6 months. So it's a lot of time dedication, but it's really, really fun." Unquote. She did add that the film isn't as dour and sullen as the trailers make it out to be, and she promises there are some funny moments between Batman and Superman.
That's good.
That's kind of a relief, actually.
I just want...
Did look like it was rather dry.
Well, I mean, I want to know what she means by funny scene, because what's a funny scene? Were there knock-knock jokes? Did Batman put his finger on Superman's chest and, like, thumb his nose? Was it a reach around? What was funny? She said, quote, "I can't give too much away, but I'm coming into a scene, and Batman and Superman are both in the scene, so I can say that. And it was just fun. Because they've been working together for a couple weeks and just running it, seeing this dynamic, I'll talk about this when we're promoting the movie, and we can tell more. But there were definitely funny moments involving batsuits and such," unquote.
I need more context than that.
Yeah, truthfully. And Scoot McNairy, who's in an unknown role in this film, he said, quote, "This is the superhero film that is the more grounded in reality than any of the other ones. It's a comic book movie, yes, but it's very, very grounded," unquote.
Bullshit.
But grounded doesn't...
It's
yeah.
Batman and Superman.
Yeah, grounded does not make a great movie.
Those are the 2 least grounded characters.
The only person
possibly pick.
Yeah, the only person who might be less grounded than Batman and Superman is Aquaman, simply with the whole breathing underwater thing. Other than that, this is as far out as you can get.
I'm not sure ground will be the word I choose.
Drowned, fine. And there was an Easter egg in the Flash and Arrow universe that it seems like very few people caught on to. A Nerdist reporter named Amy Ratcliffe showed a photo of a set of clocks that was in, a photo from a press tour.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take a look at the clocks, the cities in it are not cities you would find anywhere in the world. It's a picture of 6 clocks, and apparently they're following the times of Opal City, Coast City, Central City, Starling City, Midway City, and Bloodhaven.
I recognize 2
Opal,
of
I'm not
those.
familiar with.
Okay, Bloodhaven has been the on-again, off-again home of Nightwing. Midway City sometimes is the home to Hawkman and Hawkgirl. Starling City, we know where that is. That's the home of the Green Arrow. Central City, home of the Flash. Coast City is the home of Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern.
Green Lantern.
And Opal City is the birthplace of Starman.
Starman?
Who's that?
Starman is a DC hero, I want to say, from the 60s, been reimagined a couple times. Most current iteration of the character, and probably the most popular nowadays, came about in the 90s. That would be Stargirl. She carries Starman's cosmic rod.
Yeah, and you get that, and guy in a
You can laugh all you want,
stripes.
young lady. I know exactly how that sounds. It's also... I'm sorry, what were you going to say, Jesse?
I was saying that she's always accompanied by, sometimes accompanied by a guy in a power armor, too.
Yeah, Stripes, but that's fallen very far wayside. Stripes never took off like Stargirl did. Season 2 of The Flash, it's been confirmed that one of the villains is making a return appearance. We already know we're like 3 or 4 episodes deep at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bring some bananas because Gorilla Grodd is coming back in Season 2.
Really?
Yeah, this is according to a story in comic book. You don't like Gorilla Grodd?
Maybe I'll have to rewatch that episode, but when I was watching it seemed kind of ridiculous.
Gorilla Grodd, to be honest, is actually one of Flash's more dangerous villains outside of Zoom.
Very much so, and besides which, the version of the TV show is nowhere near as ridiculous as the one in comics.
I bet. It's
well,
just
let's see.
He was so incongruous with everything else. It was just like, what the fuck? There's a gorilla?
Well, maybe this will help. In the comic books, Gorilla Grodd is not a singular gorilla. He's a member of a society of gorillas hidden somewhere in the world in a place that's invisible to man called Gorilla City. He's one of a bunch of... Yes, he's one of a bunch of sentient apes. He happens to have the extra ability of telepathy. He's often on the run from Gorilla City as much as he's on the run from the other DC heroes.
He's a criminal in that city.
Yeah. So there you go, V. In the comic books, he's a hyper-intelligent telepathic sentient ape.
Not a genetically modified one.
Correct.
Okay.
So this version in the TV show, much easier for me to deal with personally.
I just hope he doesn't get the Speed Force. Because that would be kind of crazy.
What would that look like?
I don't know. That's what he did for in the 52 universe.
Did they?
Yes!
Because I'm trying to picture a gorilla running with a Speed Force, and all I can picture is this massive arms and legs making these sweeping motions as he just kind of buzzes over city streets. I know, it's totally Looney Tunes, but that's what I've got in my head right now. Did you guys see early on in this season when the character of Henry Allen, who was played by the prior Flash actor, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
Frack. Did you see in the first couple episodes, he just kind of left town as soon as he was freed from jail?
Yeah.
What did you think of that scene? Because I was confused why he just said, you know what, you can't be the Flash if I'm still here. It's like, wait, what?
I think that's just the writer saying we have no more uses for this character.
You know what the odd thing is? We weren't the only ones that were confused by that. Grant Gustin, the guy who plays Barry Allen in the TV show, he said, quote, "First of all, I was shocked that happened that quickly. Like a lot of the viewers were. It was like, I'm out, gotta go," unquote. And Jesse L. Martin, who plays Joe West, the detective on the show, he said, quote, "I didn't realize it was a competition. I'm still grappling with the fact that the dude just left. I don't get it. You're finally free to have a relationship with your son, and he felt like he had to leave. I don't know how much me, Jesse, understands that decision," unquote.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense to me.
It was really bizarre. I mean, he hasn't seen his son other than small visits for the last, 15, 16 years? Now I have a chance to connect with him, and he says, wow, we can finally be father and son, so I'm leaving.
Yeah, I want to know what the logic behind that is.
I don't know. I really don't. I was stunned by that scene. I was almost let down, honestly, but hey, that's me. In regards to the new spin-off show for The Flash and Green Arrow, Legends of Tomorrow, there's a report that we may get to see the second Green Arrow in that TV show.
Wait, there's another Green Arrow?
Yeah, Connor Hawke?
Yeah, in comic books, Oliver Queen had a son who eventually grew up and took over as Green Arrow named Connor Hawke.
So, do we see him as a young?
Well, Legends of Tomorrow involves time travel thanks to the Time Master Rip Hunter, so goodness knows how we're going to see him. Word is right now that Warner Brothers is looking to cast an African American or biracial male to play Connor Hawke. The character that they're casting is being described as someone who puts on the uniform of a missing hero or who once stood for justice and hope. Connor Hawke was the son of the Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, and Sandra Hawke. And this show is supposed to debut early next year. Okay, we've heard on again and off again about the different DC TV shows that have been shopped around to a bevy of networks. One of them has reared their head again, and that's the one that Sci-Fi bought. They bought the rights to a Superman prequel show they're calling Krypton. It's supposed to be set 200 years before the events in Man of Steel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Writer and producer... Yes. Writer and producer on the show, David Goyer, has revealed that the series will be a prequel to Man of Steel. They're going to be directly connected. Quote, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Listen, quote, we're treating Krypton like it's a historical piece. We looked at previous cultures on Earth to model what that would be like, unquote.
I think you're going backward.
Well, it's a prequel. He has to go backwards. I think the problem is he's looking towards Earth culture to be the basis of an alien culture. It's an alien fucking culture. It should be completely bizarre to us. You know,
I agree with
God.
That.
Yeah, no, I heard the person's like, this doesn't sound appealing at all.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Warner Brothers' version of superheroes grounded in reality. I have low faith in this TV show. I doubt I'll even check it out on curiosity basis. I think I'm going to bury it.
I will watch the first episode just out of morbid curiosity.
You know what? I don't need this show. Give me more episodes of fracking Dark Matter and Killjoys. I'm all set for that. I enjoyed those shows.
Please, so much.
You know, Killjoys especially. People told me it had this weird Firefly vibe to it. It has a Firefly vibe without being a copycat show. I dug the hell out of that show.
I haven't seen that at all. I binge watched Dark Matter just recently.
Dark Matter, Dark Matter is a bunch of tropes, but they're tried and true, and the actors did a pretty good job pulling it off for the most part. The actor who played one, occasionally, I would really like to sucker punch the little bastard. But Killjoys is a completely different level. It centers around a bounty hunting troupe. It sounds so simplistic when I say it. It is a sci-fi... It mixes so many things. Sort of.
Frontierism, I guess?
It's very cross-culture. See, the thing is, you have a moon where most of these people are based out of. They're called Killjoys, right? Uh-huh. They work for what they call the RAC. It stands for something, RAC, but I forget what exactly it does. They are legally obligated to go out once they take on a contract and take care of it. If they can't take care of the contract, suddenly there's a contract put on them. It's very high risk. But the series seems to revolve around one character named Dutch. She's this lady that seems to be of, partial Middle Eastern descent. Turns out she used to be a princess in standing in one of the 9 royal families that run the known galaxy. Mm-hmm. But at some point, she fell from grace. Her husband was killed, and she had been trained most of her life by this mysterious character named Klein in all these arts on how to kill people. And he's calling in favor.
At 8.
Okay.
Yeah, he's calling in favors from her. He keeps contacting her out of the blue, and she's spending as much time trying to fulfill contracts as track this asshole down because he apparently has some multiple secrets over her, and she is honestly scared of him, even though she kicks the ass of most males she comes across. Like I said, it's very cross-culture. They even have this religious sect who believe in blood sacrifices to sanctify things.
Sounds very intriguing.
It builds slowly, but if you get through the entire season, there is something very strong building here, and I really hated where they left the season because I want fucking more of this.
I wish I had the same enthusiasm you do. I did watch this. I thought it was okay.
I thought it was groovy. I thought they did a great job world building. I just thought they needed to speed up the story a little more. Last up in DC media news, anybody have $5 million?
I wish.
I had to ask. The 1966 Batmobile that was built by George Barris from a Ford Futura, the original 1966 Batmobile is going up for auction.
Fuck, really?
I'm dead serious. It last sold for about $4.62 million to an unknown Arizona businessman, and that businessman, who has the papers to prove that this vehicle is the authentic, original Batmobile, is putting it up for sale. It's going up in the Barrett Jackson Collector Car Show in Scottsdale, Arizona. You want to talk about one-of-a-kind collectible? That it. I'm not even kidding, man. If that's one of those cases where I had like some disposable income, that's practically an investment in the future, because there's no way that's going to depreciate given everything that's going on in comic books these days.
$5 million seems like a chump change for that.
I know, but it's going up. What can you say beyond that, right? All right, from there we'll move into general media news. We talk about the stories of entertainment that don't fit within the Marvel and DC pantheon. And V, you can breathe a little easier now.
What?
It was announced just yesterday that Peter Capaldi has signed up for another season of Doctor Who.
Oh, good. So it's not being canceled.
Well, not so far. He originally signed a 2-year contract, which was technically up at the end of this season, which is airing now, but he only in the last couple days did he sign a contract upping himself for at least one more season. He's going to be filming another 13 episodes. I wonder who's going to play his companion for that season. I mean, we already know the I'm sorry?
I've had a couple theories on that, but I don't think it's going to be Maisie Williams.
No, apparently her role is over. She signed up for a 2 or 3 episode stint, and that appears to be done. No secret that Jenna Coleman, who plays Clara on the last 3-4 seasons of the show, she has filmed her last scenes. I couldn't figure out why exactly she would leave a show that seems to be just getting her money hand over fist. Well, shows what I know, because she's leaving the show so she can take another job as Queen.
Queen?
She's playing
Queen?
Yeah, she's playing Queen Elizabeth in an upcoming show.
Ah.
A new drama series. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Queen Elizabeth. Queen Victoria.
That's probably very lucrative for her.
Sounds like it. She's probably going to be the feature in the show instead of also starring at this point, you know?
Yeah.
So, she's got to do something for her career once in a while. And, God, we are full of just feature-length fun trailers, because Jessica Jones, as good as that was, there is another trailer that came out this week that has been burning the internet alive. The full trailer for Star Wars The Force Awakens was released this week ahead of the
that's why all the Spaceballs trailers were on my Facebook feed.
Yep, in a month and a half, we're going to have the official release of the movie, but till then, we have to allow ourselves to be satiated with 2.5 minutes of goodness. I sent the video. The following preview has been approved to accompany this feature by the Motion Picture Association of America, Inc. Thank you for this speed reading. There's Finn climbing through the dilapidated Star Destroyer.
Who are you?
It's got to be creepy to be climbing through a starship that's landlocked.
No one.
That robot with the spheres is interesting.
Yeah, it's BB-8. That is the R2-D2 of this trilogy. Apparently that's an actual prop, too. They didn't CG in that droid.
One thing.
Oh, nice.
Whoa.
I've got nothing to fight for.
TIE fighters are the most bizarre design now that I think about it.
Nothing will stand in our way.
Look, lens flares.
It wouldn't be a J.J. Abrams film if they didn't have lens flares.
At this
And he's
point,
talking-
it's...
Sorry, it looked like he was talking to a hood ornament.
There were stories about what happened.
Wow, I'm just getting chills listening to this.
I'm still not seeing it opening weekend. I will risk the internet because I'm not going to risk what people will do in movie theaters during this film.
Oh, that's
I'm going
new.
to be seeing it at a...
Christmas!
The dark side. The Jedi.
I gotta admit, though, this is the first Star Wars movie I've seen since I was a kid that makes me want to watch the movies.
They're real.
Although it doesn't make me want to risk the prequels.
The Force. It's calling to you.
Starship battle in the sky.
That's actually a really good trailer.
Just let it in.
Yeah. And just think, in 5 days, we get to see one of the stars of this movie.
If J.J. Abrams can't make it happen, I don't know who could.
He's not the one that's been signed for the next movie, though. I think another director is being signed to do episode 8, whatever that's going to be.
Yeah.
I forget who that is. But that is a really good trailer. You know, credit to whichever company cut that for them, because they picked a lot of good stuff to show that shows... To their credit, it's a perfect trailer. It whets the appetite without showing you really anything going on in the movie. You know what I mean? There's no story given away there. You have no idea what's coming, but you want to fucking know.
That's usually my issue with trailers, is it gives away too much of the movies. Like, well, now I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
Like How to Train Your Dragons 2?
Oh, God, that hurt, man. I wanted to see that movie so bad, then I saw the trailer and like, okay, I'm done. But believe it or not, Star Wars Episode 7 is being boycotted.
By who?
Really? Who?
Yeah, there's a hashtag that appeared on Twitter called hashtag boycott Star Wars 7. And that's Roman numeral 7. The reason why these people following this hashtag are boycotting it, and I'm having trouble understanding where they're coming from with this, they're protesting the movie by saying it promotes white genocide.
What?
The fuck?
I really don't know. The pervasive theory is because in all the trailers for the movie, it's been portrayed that most of the main characters will not be white males. They're all either women or minorities. I don't know. Personally, maybe that has to do with stormtroopers because they're all white and they get shot pretty fast. You know, it's all white armor, so I don't know. But I have tried to understand why this is a reason to boycott this movie, especially since...
It is not a reason.
As we just said, it hasn't come out yet. We don't know what the details are going to be. You know, if you're going to base it...
I can't understand racism at all. Fuck.
If you're basing it on that one scene in the trailer where Kylo Ren in his mask is using the Force on Poe Dameron to get some information, I'd like to remind you that the guy behind that mask is a white guy. You know, I forget his name and everything, but that is a white guy in that mask. So
this sounds like a troll, but it probably isn't. So,
well, there's one Twitter account that used the hashtag. They call themselves Captain Confederacy. Oh boy, we're already dealing with a brain trust.
Oh wow.
He said in Twitter, social justice warriors complain about white artists misappropriating culture created by blacks, but then celebrate a non-white Star Wars. Unquote. Huh? Non-white Star Wars?
I don't
Did we see the same trailer? Because I saw plenty of white people in there.
Yeah, me too. Not to mention, like, freaking Harrison Ford's still in it.
Carrie Fisher, too.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even notice her, but...
Another complaint said that the movie should be boycotted, quote, because it's nothing more than social justice propaganda piece that alienates its core audience of young white males, unquote. I'm sorry,
really?
Have you seen
Who's
the
minority here?
Have you actually seen the internet? It's full of nothing but young white males talking about nerdy shit.
Right? I don't think anyone else has even noticed the racial composition of the movie.
I never bothered to think about it until I started following this particular story, so fuck, you know. There's still plenty of white people in it. I don't know what their problem is. Oh, I'm jealous of Canada.
Why?
Really?
Yep. Canadian Netflix subscribers will be the first one to stream The Force Awakens.
Why Canadian specifically?
It comes down to prior agreements. Disney has existing agreements with Starz, although it appears that Disney's 2016 films will be fair game for the streaming service. So Starz gets first pick, but apparently because of the agreement they already signed with Netflix, Netflix gets first shot at the fucking Star Wars movie.
Cool.
Buried in the report is also the idea that Disney and Netflix were talking about bringing the past Star Wars installments to viewers as well. I know people are going for that 7-movie marathon for The Force Awakens. Get to see all 7 movies in chronological order. But frick, if you can do that instead at home, Netflix and chill with like 20 people in your living room watching Star Wars, that sounds like such harmonious fun.
Yeah.
I'm not that hardcore.
Until you run out of Mountain Dew, and then, it's every stormtrooper for themselves. God, this kind of threw me sideways. Warner Brothers is in an argument with the team that worked on the original 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie.
Really?
Yeah, do you know it's been 25 years since the first of those movies came out?
Don't remind me.
Now.
Well, in Los Angeles Superior Court, the team of producers Kim Dawson and Gary Proper and director Steve Barron, writers Bobby Herbeck and Todd Langen, and an heir to the producer Graham Cottle, won a $400,000 plus judgment against rights holder Fortune Star this week. But they still haven't seen any of the money yet.
It does take a while for that money to go through most of the time.
But it seems like it's taken... Something like that, though, should be very simple. Once the judge orders it, you either appeal it or you pay it, and it sounds like they've done neither. And they have to refile a lawsuit to get that money? That's fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Are you guys fans of the older, digest-style shows, like Amazing Stories?
Haven't really seen Amazing Stories.
Okay, Amazing Stories came out in the 80s. It was a Steven Spielberg created and produced show. It was an anthology series about, supernatural or fantastic things happening. What's the right way to call it? Kind of like the Twilight Zone, but happier. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
Okay. A man named Brian Fuller is bringing it back to NBC.
Brian Fuller, I know that name.
Brian Fuller recently finished his work on the series of Hannibal, but he's also done work on Heroes and Star Trek Voyager.
That's where I know the name from.
Yeah, he's gonna executive produce and write the pilot. Steven Spielberg will not be involved in this retelling of Amazing Stories.
He also did Dead Like Me and Wonder Falls and Pushing Daisies.
It's kind of amazing. It amazes me that the original Amazing Stories only lasted 2 seasons. During that 2 seasons, they won 5 Emmys.
Really?
Damn.
Yeah. How does a show do that well and then get thrown off the air? I guess that's the difference between art and likability, I suppose.
I guess.
Oh.
It could have also been bad time slot or poorly marketed.
Maybe. Do you remember...
Like what happened to Firefly?
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly.
Now you're just sticking the knife in further, you dick. Remember months ago, we talked about the remake that was much maligned of Big Trouble in Little China?
Yeah, we mentioned.
Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is starring in and producing a remake of John Carpenter's 1986 action comedy Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
The Wall Street Journal finally caught up with Kurt Russell, the guy who starred in the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked what his opinion was on this remake. And, Kurt Russell, he tends to be a little bit flippant on things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was kind of funny about it because Russell said, quote, "Hey, nothing sacred? Why not? Go get it. Good luck. I always think it's interesting what's going to be done. Dwayne Johnson, I don't know what his take is going to be. I don't know what they're going to do. I always look at these movies, and when I see a remake, it's like, okay, there's got to be a reason." Unquote.
Well, it has been, 25 years?
It's been almost 30. The original Big Trouble in Little China came out in 1986.
That's reasonable to remake that.
And, Kurt Russell he actually had a sense of humor about it himself. He said, quote, "I did a remake with John Carpenter. We did the remake of The Thing. But John didn't want to remake the original movie. He wanted to remake the Who Goes There, which had never been made, which was the short story on which The Thing was based. So ours was, in fact, quite different from the original Thing, and it was a horrific monster. And it took a long time for that movie to kind of gain its appreciation, but through the years, it's been nice to watch that happen with that movie. It's now considered one of the great horror movies ever made, and I'm very proud to have been a part of it. So with Big Trouble in Little China, the sensibility that the movie was very different, no movie has been made like that. And virtually, you flip-flop the leading man and the sidekick. That had never been done. And a lot of the humor and style of that movie was brand new for that time and was very much copied after that. So, in its way, Big Trouble is definitely a cult film, unquote.
Wait, it was already a remake?
No, he said he starred in the remake of The Thing.
Okay.
The Thing had been made before he made that movie with John Carpenter. So he's ambiguous on the whole remake thing. He just, his standpoint basically is that if there's a good reason for it, go for it. And he doesn't sound like he's been approached to being part of the movie at all. Although, given the way Dwayne Johnson is, I would imagine he's going to call Kurt Russell to do something in the film. I've noticed in a prior movie of his, I can't remember the name of it, but it was the one where he starred as this psychotic bodybuilder who was involved in a murder ring. He was actually wearing Jack Burton's tank top during that movie. So, we'll see. Yeah, and Bill Murray. God, this guy, he helped build comedy into what it is between the 80s and 90s. There's actually a role he regrets not winning. He had a recent Reddit Q&A on Wednesday. He was trying to promote his film Rock the Casbah. And he explained to one person who asked about if he was sorry he didn't get any roles. He said, quote, "The only role I wanted I didn't get, The Year of Living Dangerously by Peter Weir. I wasn't a big shot. Mel Gibson lived in Australia. I'd been to Indonesia and I thought I understood that movie. When I saw it, I was like, damn, that was the only one I wanted I didn't get. Peter Weir is something else," unquote.
Which movie was this again?
The Year of Living Dangerously. I have not seen it myself.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I would have to look it up. Apparently it stars Mel Gibson, which means it's very anti-Jew, I imagine. Hey, we all know who he is by now. And I have another full trailer for you guys. This one is about 3.5 minutes long. True. And it's a trailer to a show I've been waiting for I guess about 3 years now, and I think V's been waiting probably about that long for this one. Okay, we finally have a trailer, thanks to Adult Swim, for Season 6 of The Venture Brothers.
Oh, about damn fucking time.
Awesome!
Wow. I didn't expect that universal love. Well, I sent the video. Oh, I know that music.
It's been a while since I've seen anything from Venture Brothers.
Yep. There's the skull.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in quite some time.
Well, the last thing from the Venture Brothers, I think it was last year, that one-shot, like, hour-and-a-half long movie.
Yeah, with the...
JJ died.
Which one's JJ?
Dr. Venture's little brother.
Oh, that's right.
Or twin brother, whatever you want to call him. The
brain
midget.
brother.
Let's go. Make that last mistake.
There's
Not talking, take a swing or what?
Hey, it's the Guild. Commandeered by the Guild of Calamitous Intent by order of the Council of 13, stand by for your orders.
Attention! Attention all costumed aggressors. The Guild has issued this alert. Be on the lookout for this man. He is a killer of villains.
This guy has a hat on all the time.
It's the Monarch.
The
Monarch is killing villains now.
The Monarch!
Wow, what? He's an anti-hero now?
Oh my god!
Dude, nobody knows that I'm not...
He's always been kind of an anti-hero.
Well, if you saw the end of the last movie, they were rebuilding the Guild from the ground up, and he was one of like 13 survivors, but they wouldn't let... Was it, the guy who did it wouldn't let him be on the Council of 13. Dr. Killinger.
You have to watch that again.
Like a good one.
It was in the epilogue.
Really throws a log flame.
Yeah, right. Not the blowtorch guy.
Blowtorch guy.
So approach him with a quality flamethrower, or better, a rocket
What?
launcher.
Better. Flamethrower is way better than a rocket launcher. I
God, I love this show.
I love those guys.
Launcher. Miss all the time. They take like a day to reload. Hot fire.
But you're wearing a bomb strapped to your back.
Not for the squeamish. Flamethrower. Flamethrower.
Approach this man with a big flamethrower that you can see from a mile away.
Flamethrower.
Do not try to engage him in conversation. Just kill him on sight. I repeat,
Conversation?
this man must be stopped. The Guild of Calamitous Intent, in cooperation with the Peril Partnership, has given costumed aggressors indisputable rights and privileges to kill this man on sight.
Wow.
Do the catchphrase. What?
Do,
I don't mind. Have a cow, dude.
No, come on.
Oh, yeah, okay. And remember, if you see something, slay something.
Oh.
Right? We getting delivery or did you bring a lunch? Starved.
Leftover pizza.
Okay, that's a pretty good teaser.
Emergency channel. We should return them to their stupid ad for their dumb cartoon.
What? Turn it off. Why did you even leave the...
Plenty. Because the largest space station ever built is also the first ever
Oh my
to be
god.
open to the public. Welcome to Gargantua 2.
Awesome.
Oh, that was terrific.
I got so many things running through my head, and I need to catch up on that shit.
Holy shit, that wasn't even the right trailer.
Really? Is there
There should be another one. That came out before the Gargantua 2 special. Let me see. Okay, I found the trailer I saw. Sorry about that. Okay, now that we got through the wrong trailer, I'll go ahead and send you the right trailer to Season 6. I sent the video. Yeah.
You okay?
You know what he just found out?
Fainted.
With his eyes open? Shock, probably. Poor little guy. He must have been overcome with grief. Why is he smiling like that?
Last will and testament?
Wakey, wakey, Mr. Venture. You're about to be a very rich man.
You understand what happened there?
He just inherited
He collected
his brother's
insurance?
island.
Yeah, he just inherited everything JJ Venture owned.
Including Gargantua 2?
Well, the Gargantua 2 is destroyed, but he owns the rest of his industries. JJ was a successful scientist where he wasn't. He now
Okay,
owns
so he has
buildings,
another company
territory,
burnt to the
machines,
ground.
laboratories. Well, he's never owned like a full company before. This is something new. Venture Brothers Season 6.
Okay!
Yeah, that was the Ghost Rider. That was a half-naked Dr. Girlfriend. Ooh, look at the trainee Captain America. You get a feeling a lot is coming, don't you?
Yeah.
Did Dean just throw Brock?
Does he have superpowers?
Trust me, I'm on your team. Why can't you see that?
Oh, I don't know, because you're in a guild jacket, baby?
Yeah, but if you haven't unpacked my bathrobe. See? That's like inappropriate.
There is no way I could stay mad at that.
10 minutes before I leave for assembly. Make up 6.
Only if you bump up my level and wear the cheerleader.
Bump up my level? I can't tell if that was hot or not.
I've always found Dr. Girlfriend weirdly attractive.
I wonder if that wannabe Captain America is supposed to be a parody of Wonder Woman.
Show you around. I'm something
Nope, this is Spider-Man. Knows that voice?
Hey, lover boy.
I think that guy's trying to...
Just ignore
It's
it.
Nathan
What are you
Fillion.
working for the weekend? Here, maybe you could use a little
Wait.
pick-me-up.
Which
Nathan
one?
Fillion.
My campus tour guide sense is telling me Tosh Thompson
As a spider guy.
Oh,
was energetic
damn.
at me. With my incredible spider-esque reflexes, I could easily dodge it. Or I could spin a web pretty much any size to catch it. But then the whole campus would learn my secret identity. And I could put my poor old aunt...
Oh. Mark Knopfler crapped his pants. Again.
That guy goes here? He's like 40.
Yeah, he's a teacher. I didn't, crap my pants.
Yeah, I know. I remember you now.
Awesome.
Wow me! Stick your finger into my ear and tickle my brain. Reach right up my ass and grab my heart.
I could have lived without that.
That burrito now will not taste well. What are you guys sold?
I was already sold with the idea of there's a season 6, but yes.
Okay. And last up, Hot Toys wants more of your money.
It can't
Remember
have
Hot Toys?
any of my money. I don't have any.
Yeah, the Chinese company that makes like 12-inch figures that are worth like $200, high articulation, lots of props. Well, they've done it again, and this time they're doing it with a figure that's guaranteed to make them lots and lots of money. Based on Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens, I now present to you the Flame Trooper.
Okay.
Use a flamethrower!
That's pretty great.
Oh, wow.
That's really awesome. I doubt it really shoots jets of flame, though. Slow your roll.
Yeah.
But let me see. This is expected to be about $200 to $225, and it'll probably be in scale with the other Star Wars figures they've already released. That's nice detail on the flamethrower there. And remember, it's preferable to a rocket launcher. Oh, I'm so glad I don't collect those figures. I would be fracking broke like all the time.
Well, if it's your only hobby, then I can see someone spending money on it.
Yeah, but I have to be really boring other than that hobby.
Yeah.
Okay, from there we move into Marvel comic news. We talk about the Marvel properties that will end up on comic book pages. The Uncanny Inhumans started up this week. It's the new series featuring Marvel's family of genetically altered royalty, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. There's been a little bit of controversy surrounding it because the solicits all said that Steve McNiven illustrated the book, and Jay Lestine, I think the inker? Yeah, Jay Lestine was supposed to be the inker. Well, unfortunately, when the issue came out, people were checking the credits page, and they felt a little cheated because instead of Steve McNiven as the penciler, he was listed as the inker, and Jay Lestine was listed as the penciler. So a lot of people were on the internet pissed off, saying, what the fuck, bait and switch, you guys are awful. One Reddit user named Huntsaw said, I know the inkers still have a large part to play in the art of the comic, but I feel cheated by the fact that Jay Lestine's pencils didn't come close to how nice Steve McNiven's look. What's going on here, unquote. Well, Marvel recently issued a statement and said that there was an error on the credits page. Steve McNiven is in fact the penciler, not the inker on the issue. Which makes me wonder what Huntsaw says about the illustrations there, because he doesn't seem to recognize artist's work.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... And the thing is, McNiven and Leaston, they have regularly teamed up as artist and inker on several books, including Captain America, Uncanny Avengers, and The Death of Wolverine. Why would they change that now?
Yeah, also, I'm confused. Why is that worth getting upset about?
Some people consider it bait and switch because Steve McNiven is now a very well-known artist, and in the solicits it said that he is the artist of the books. He's the artist of the books. Then the book comes out, somebody reads a credit page, and it lists his partner Joe Leaston as the artist instead. Most people assume that, or at least a decent amount of people, I guess, assume that Marvel did a bait and switch and didn't put Steve McNiven as the penciler of the book, instead of just the logical recourse of, whoops, somebody put the wrong name in the wrong place. Sorry.
Right?
Frickin'
That's
internet.
what I would have thought.
Yeah, internet drama abounds. One thing Marvel Comics is known about is their what-ifs. They put out stories generally about their bigger storylines and what if things turned out differently. Well, this coming Wednesday, October 28th, there is a big scary what-if coming.
Oh?
Yeah, do you remember the Dark Reign when Norman Osborn was running the Avengers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vaguely.
All right. Well, the What If is going to be a one-shot issue coming out October 28th is What If Infinity Dark Reign. The difference in this one compared to the regular Marvel Universe, this answers the question of what would have happened if Norman Osborn, while in control of the Avengers, somehow got his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet.
The fuck?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I imagine will happen. That's just everybody's fucked. That's the only way to describe that story.
Give a crazy man the power to alter and change reality as he sees fit?
Yep.
It's almost as bad as seeing Deadpool getting it.
At least that would be entertaining. Although he'd probably use the Infinity Gauntlet to burst out of the comic book page and punch you in the face.
Well, I mean, if he can do it, anybody can do it.
All right, well, the What If issue is going to be a one-shot issue coming out October 28th. It's What If Infinity Dark Reign. The difference in this one compared to the regular Marvel Universe, this answers the question of what would have happened if Norman Osborn, while in control of the Avengers, somehow got his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah, also,
Marvel has also finally announced the second Iron Man series. They're calling it International Iron Man. It's supposed to be the ongoing adventures of Tony Stark, not in the usual places you'd find him, space, the U.S., inside someone's panties. No, this will be the stories of him traveling around the world and being Iron Man instead. So this, the creative team on this one will be Brian Bendis and collaborator Alex Maleev. Entertainment Weekly is going to have the full details on the series in an upcoming issue. Bendis said, quote, "It feels in a sense the same way Alex and I came at Daredevil. By propelling the character forward, we found different levels in him that just weren't shown before. It just seemed that Alex was a perfect person to join me on this character re-examination. One of our favorite books we did together was Civil War: The Confession, which was Tony confessing his sins at the time to a then-dead Captain America. People almost daily tell me it's their favorite thing we've ever done. It just seemed appropriate for us to team up for this big quest character," unquote. I don't know. The first 2 issues of Invincible Iron Man from the restart, I've enjoyed those immensely. If they can keep that kind of creative juice flowing, I'm all for it. But 2016 will see a new series that I don't think anyone ever expected to see. It's titled X-Men, Worst X-Man Ever. To me, that just means it stars Gambit, but, that's my personal feeling on it. It's going to be done by writer Max Bemis and artist Michael Walsh. According to series editor Jordan White, quote, "Given the story we wanted to tell, we decided to give Max the opportunity to bring us his own take on the X-Men. It's a sort of evergreen best-of situation. We've got X-Men from all eras in here coming together to tell the story of Bailey Hoskins, our main character, who fears he may be the worst X-Man ever," unquote.
And why does he have this fear exactly?
I don't know. This will be the first appearance of this Max Bemis character, so I don't know why he has that feeling necessarily. I am curious to find out more about it. You hear a lot of debates as to, as many X-Men there have been, who could be the worst character, and now we get to find out who that may in fact be. I'm curious enough to read it. I don't know if I'll own it. Let me put it that way. And you knew that with this character coming in the new season of Daredevil that he was going to get a book at some time. And it's official. There's going to be a new ongoing written by Becky Cloonan and drawn by Steve Dillon featuring Frank Castle, the Punisher. He's getting another book.
How long has it been since he had one?
I want to say it's been a couple years. It's been a while since he started in anything. And I kind of understand why. When you consider what's in the Marvel Universe, a guy with guns is probably one of the more normal things to happen in there. I imagine he just doesn't stick out as well as other characters do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair enough.
This new comic is going to follow Frank Castle as he investigates a new street drug that gives users powers akin to Captain America's super soldier serum, but it's unstable. According to the writer Becky Cloonan, quote, "Things are going to start out in a familiar enough place, but soon the Punisher's going to find himself in an unfamiliar environment without a lot of the things he usually relies on. We're going to strip away some of his layers and push him right to the limit. I want to see how far he'll go to accomplish his goals. A few people have said some of the stuff we're planning is reminiscent of Punisher Max, which is nothing but the highest of compliments," unquote. That is an interesting idea, the Punisher dealing with superpowered problems instead of just his normal gang-related ones. But this series is supposed to start early next year. And one of Marvel's Superman allegories, the Hyperion, is actually getting his own series. It was announced at a Diamond retailer event in London. The Hyperion is getting his own series starting in early 2016. It's going to be written by the author of Star Wars Aftermath, which is a book, Chuck Wendig. It's going to be illustrated by one of the artists from 1872, Nick Varela. I don't have a lot of details as to what's expected of Hyperion in this series, although this is the first time I could think of he's starring in a book. But you know what?
Hyperion is just basically like Superman, like invincible.
Same kind of thing, except this Hyperion is from another dimension. He's struggling because he's trying to figure out how he can matter to people on all levels. He wants to figure out how to lead humanity in a new place instead of just inspire them to one. But he doesn't want to be... He's trying real hard not to be an overlord, but the times I've seen him in the latest run of Avengers, he struggles a lot because he knows he has the power to just snap his fingers and tell people how it should be done. But he just doesn't want to be that guy. So a lot of his internal monologue deals with that struggle of how easy it would be to just snap his neck and go in the direction it should be going, but no. But of course, when the Superman allegory gets his own series, you can imagine the Batman allegory isn't far behind. And Marvel's also doing an ongoing Nighthawk series. Nighthawk and Hyperion were both introduced around the same time in, I think, the late 60s as part of the Squadron Supreme, which was an entire ripoff of the Justice League meant for the Avengers to occasionally fight. But it turns out their Batman allegory Nighthawk, he will get his own series. They're really pushing this Squadron Supreme stuff lately. And last up in Marvel comic news, this is kind of an old conversation, but it came up like last Monday, and I do think it needs to be talked about. Fox News. I'm sure everybody knows what Fox News is, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, a bunch of conservative pundits usually talking about conservative angles, and that's the long and short of their dialogue. Well, right. Last weekend, they called Captain America anti-American.
What?
They claimed that the current Captain America, Sam Wilson, was a liberal marketing ploy to go up against conservatives. See, the first issue of Sam Wilson, Captain America, came out last Wednesday. And we talked about it very slightly when I said that Sam Wilson, he renounced his ties to the government, he renounced his ties to S.H.I.E.L.D., and he wants to fight for the people directly, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
On Fox and Friends, which I believe aired that Saturday or Sunday, they talked about it, and they said that this Captain America specifically is going up against conservatives because in his first book, he renounced his government ties and he went up against a new version of a villain group called the Sons of the Serpent. According to Fox and Friends, the Sons of the Serpent are identified as conservatives, and the group's leader, the Supreme Serpent, is an American who has misgivings about illegal immigration and the costs associated with it, saying that Captain America paints that viewpoint as evil.
Say what?
They
That
think
doesn't even
that
make
this
any sense.
They think this comic book is a veiled shot at conservatives. The hosts go on to say that the comic book pigeonholes average Americans as ignorant, snake-handling bigots trying to turn the country into Nazi Germany. And they say that...
I think they're over-glorifying their point.
Well, they say that Sam Wilson is Captain America fighting the Sons of the Serpent, who are at the border trying to stop and kill illegal immigrants, is promoting illegal immigration. Now, I did a little bit of digging because the Sons of the Serpent has been a Captain America enemy for decades. And I knew that, but I didn't know a whole lot behind him. Here's the part that's really interesting. The Sons of the Serpent, for a while, were being run by a guy called General Chen. That's who the Supreme Serpent was. An Asian man.
Okay.
It's also been led by a combination of black and white people over its history. So the Sons of the Serpent are about as conservative as nothing. And besides what
didn't do their research.
Yeah, the Sons of the Serpent is also a terrorist group. The Fox and Friends people also tried to stretch this allegory a bit further by saying that just the name, the Sons of the Serpent, is supposed to be a reference to the Don't Tread on Me flag of the Patriots. The Sons of the Patriots. Which is a notorious conservative group. I mean, they really grasp at straws. And I seriously doubt that any of them read comic books in their own time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where they picked up on this from, but if anything has been shown, Fox and Friends should not talk about comic books because they don't get anything about them. I mean, Sam Wilson is do you know what the Falcon did before he became Captain America? Before he became the Falcon? Before he became a superhero?
Paratrooper?
Community organizer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, it's not like their audience will know the difference.
No, but it's also irresponsible to talk about something that you have no basis of knowledge in, period. And I could argue that...
They seem to have a lot of trouble with that.
Yeah. I could really get into that, but I'm just not in the mood to kick over that particular rock right now. We'll go into DC comic news, and a couple of things have happened that have been alluded to since the solicits for the post-Convergence DC universe. As of the latest issue of Superman and Wonder Woman, issue 22, titled Injustice, Superman has ended his relationship with Wonder Woman. And this is the depowered Superman that ended his relationship with Wonder Woman.
Because she's now too much woman for him, or...
I don't know. He just kind of claims that he's no longer in love with her without really explaining what the frick is happening. It's kind of jarring because Wonder Woman spends the whole issue talking to people who know Clark Kent and various people around them with her golden lasso of truth, just so she can make sure that she understands what happened to him and the circumstances of everything, and also so that Superman can understand where people stand in his current dilemma. He apparently did not appreciate that she went that far. Which is a hell of a step when you think about it.
The lack of trust.
Yeah, she even followed him in a starship as he tried to fly a ship into the sun to recharge his own powers. I mean, blue fuck, if that ain't love, I don't know what is. It just seems so weirdly glaring that after everything he's been through, she's willing to stand by him, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to talk to her anymore. Either he's feeling inadequate, or her vagina is just too hard to breach without some super strength of your own.
I'm gonna go with the latter.
You would. But that wasn't the only major event that happened last week for DC Comics. As of Justice League 45, a major character died.
Who?
Darkseid.
Really?
Yeah, the frequent villain of the Justice League, the one who can take on all of them at once, he died. But that wasn't the only psychotic part of that issue. Half the Justice League has been corrupted. It's like Wonder Woman and Mr. Miracle, Scott-Free, and a couple other characters trying to pick up the pieces. The new gods are on Earth, so she's trying to fend them off while understand where the rest of the Justice League is gone. Batman won't get out of Metron's chair. Superman is corrupted by... Yeah, Superman is corrupted by apocalyptic energy. I don't remember where Aquaman is. You know, I think the Green Lantern is trying to pry Batman out of the chair. And the weirdest part about all that is that the energy of Darkseid, the Omega Effect, it's already found a new host.
Who?
Also wandering around Apocalypse at the same time Darkseid died was Lex Luthor.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Look at it this way. Lex Luthor can finally have a fight with Superman that doesn't involve a war suit or green rocks.
Now
he can finally take him on
true.
direct. Yeah, he can finally take him on directly
now.
for once. Yeah. So this could actually be one of the more compelling stories as far as Lex Luthor. Another thing that was released this week, I haven't read yet, but I may need to. Titans Hunt. The book is supposed to align the continuities between the pre-Flashpoint and post-Flashpoint teams of the Teen Titans. It's actually supposed to explain that there was a Titans team prior to everything else going on. Man, DC really needs to clean up his continuity. This whole concentric circles thing isn't working for me. There's too many questions. Matter of fact, I was at Blast Off Comics in North Hollywood this week. They had a sale. They were selling graphic novels at 50% off. So I picked up a few items. You know, I picked up like the first graphic novel of the second run of New Avengers, the first X Factor. Found 2 volumes of Empowered there.
Oh, nice.
So I was in a pretty good mood. And then somebody asked me a question about Superman, and so I had to explain how Superman was depowered and powered in the DC universe. Poor counter guy just kind of cocked his head and stared at me, so I had to explain the concentric circles of DC continuity. And I did my best to explain it as evenly as possible, and he just looks at me and says, "That sounds fucked up." It is fucked up. You know?
It sounds like it's dumb as shit.
Yeah. It's pretty horrible. And last up in DC comic news, there's a new Catwoman creative team who's looking to add a little bit of high fashion to the Catwoman. Artist Inaki Miranda is supposed to give the book a new look, emphasizing city lights and the warrior inside Selena Kyle. Writer Frank Thierry is also taking over. This team will take over as of Catwoman 47 this coming December, promising that the character is supposed to go after the biggest score of her life. It's taking the character out of the role she's had as gang leader for the last several months. She's going back to being a high-end thief. I don't know, do you consider that a step forward or a step back since she's going back to thievery?
I didn't realize she stepped up to be a gang leader, so...
Oh, okay. Shows what I know.
Gang leader doesn't seem like her thing from what little
Yeah.
I know of her.
I always thought it could be. That's the danger of a Catwoman series. Most of the time the character is portrayed as this weird kind of anti-hero. I think a lot of people really try to toe the line between hero and villain with a character, but they can never do it. She always leans one way or the other rather heavily. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult. I'm not saying I could do it, but they got to do a better job of just making her anarchistic, nihilistic. I'm not sure which of those words would be better. Let's just go with pragmatic. She's going to do what's best for her at all times.
Yeah.
So that's the best I can think of. We'll go into general comic book and convention news. We'll talk about comic book news that isn't Marvel and DC related, as well as news about conventions that occur all over the world. Jesse.
What?
Yes.
Time to mark your calendars for 2017. The blog and Englishman in San Diego. He is an English chap that enjoys going to San Diego Comic-Con every year. He may have nailed down the dates to 2017's Comic-Con. He was checking the San Diego Convention Center and their event calendar, and he noted that there was one entry that occurred in July that seems rather curious. It says, quote, private convention with trade show, Thursday, July 20th, 2017 to Sunday, July 23rd, 2017. Event details, event type, convention with trade show. Days, 4. Attendance, 130,000 individuals, unquote.
Ain't that a dead giveaway?
You know, I've checked the calendar for the San Diego Convention Center for years. There's only one convention that ever fills up the entirety of that fucking building.
Which is?
San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh, right.
Everything else is like 30,000 people. Relatively smaller conventions go on there most of the time. And then once a year, all of a sudden, oh, fucking full, stop. So it appears we may know the dates for 2017 already in late July, but, keep yourselves tuned. Those dates could change depending on what else is signed out there.
I didn't realize the dates were that mutable.
Usually they aren't. There was one year actually it was this past year where they happened back to back because of some kind of scheduling problem. I think at the time they were working out the dates was when Comic-Con was still working on an extension with the city of San Diego, so they hadn't locked anything in, and something else moved into late July. So this year is an aberration, technically. Usually it happens the last couple weekends in July, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
There was an official announcement this week. William Shatner is teaming up with L&L Partners to release a new line of cinematic graphic novels. It's supposed to be comic books that incorporate motion elements and limited animation, and the company is going to be titled Shatner Singularity. Which
this
sounds like the...
familiar. Did we cover something like this before?
We talked a little bit last week because William Shatner and Stan Lee were supposed to have some kind of big announcement working together.
Oh, and this is the announcement.
Yes, he's putting out the announcement. Let me see. Singularity is also going to publish a new graphic novel by Stan Lee in conjunction with Power Entertainment. Something tells me I'm going to find out a lot more about this next weekend. After all, at Kamikaze on Sunday, November 1st, there is a panel featuring both Stan Lee and William Shatner.
Oh, nice.
Shatner Singularity. That sounds like what happens when I go to the toilet. V, have you been reading the Star Trek comics?
Not really. Not except that one Green Lantern one that Jesse showed me.
Okay, you need to read issue 50.
Okay, why?
It came out just last week because the reboot universe had its first encounter with a mirror universe.
Oh, nice. Okay, yes, I have to read this.
Oh, no, it gets even creepier than you think, because not only are they staring at mirror images of themselves where Spock is in charge of a ruthless crew on the Enterprise, apparently in the middle of all this, you also meet Khan Noonien Singh, Man of Peace.
Wow.
So you need to go find issue 50.
Now I'm wondering where the divergence is between the universes if the tragedy of Vulcan ever occurred there. I have to find out. Yep.
I don't know. Maybe you can tell us.
Ah, boy.
Work.
Image.
Darn.
Image Comics had a very interesting cancellation that came up very suddenly. One of their books called Material, they just announced as of last week via the creator, it's canceled. It's ending. According to the series creator, he put out a statement online, quote, "Material is canceled. It's no one's fault. The facts are simple. The current comics marketplace and the current comics business do not support the type of work I predominantly want to create. Nor do they support the type of ethical conduct I want to perpetuate. Nor do they pay enough. In the months following the now famous and infamous interview I gave Abraham Reisman at the Vulture, I sensed a final rising of a long gestating tidal wave. I don't have a good explanation of what the wave is, I merely know it exists. I know I am moving into a new way of being, and some days I can see the other shore. Material might continue next year. The format would change. 1 graphic novel per year. See if it works. If it does, we might do more. If it doesn't, well, I refuse to not use the already made and excellent covers by Tom Mueller, so at least we have to do the 2016 version," unquote. I don't know what he said there other than maybe he didn't feel like he was getting paid enough for the books.
Yeah, that seems the gist of it.
Sounds like he had a weird fit.
Well, according to Diamond sales figures via Newsarama, Material was not a high-selling book at Image. The 3rd and 4th issues didn't even crack the top 300 books sold in a month.
I mean, maybe butthurt no one bought his stuff.
Maybe. You think maybe he pulled a Yui Bowl?
Wait, what?
Is context?
Yui Bowl, he's the director of movies like Blood Rain. He was pissy at one point because he tried to kickstart a project of his. It was supposed to be the sequel to something he made before. He wasn't making enough money, so he canceled the Kickstarter and put out a video that said that people will enjoy their bullshit Avengers dirt.
Oh, right.
You know, he's one of those guys that basically blames his failures on everybody else not liking him enough.
Not
Crimea River?
You know, yeah, Yui Bowl has also been credited with making some of the worst movies in entertainment in recent years.
Oh, yeah.
So, go figure. Valiant Comics has an interesting way to sell comic books. They're sending axes to their retailers.
Axes?
Axes. Wrath of the Eternal Warrior #1 is on track to become one of Valiant's single best-selling releases of the year. And as a retailer incentive, they're giving away axes. They're replicas of the ones used by the Eternal Warrior in comic books. They're going to be 27 inches tall, and each one will be engraved with Wrath of the Eternal Warrior logos. So far, there's no announcements on how to get this to comic book fans. It's just going to retailers, to which I say, thank you. No, these appear to be actual replica wood and steel axes. These are not props.
Huh.
I would not want this in the hands of comic book fans. I would hear about all kinds of weird accidents. Now that I've said that out loud, I realize that the word accident just turned to a pun of its own.
Yeah, I heard that too.
I said that, I'm just like, oh shit, I screwed up. And last up in general comic news is a new webcomic called Heroine Chic. It's being described on IO9 as Edna Mode, the comic book series.
Really?
Edna Mode?
Edna Mode is the character from The Incredibles that designed the costumes for all the heroes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
Short little lady with glasses, funny Jewish-style accent.
Voiced by the director.
Yeah, Heroine Chic is a webtoon about a fashion designer who works for superheroes. It's set in New York. Yeah, it's set in a New York populated by superheroes, follows the life of fashion designer Zoe Porter. She gets a job with a superhero costume designer, Dinah Cuff. Oh, God. And after that, Zoe is thrust into a world of high fashion and superheroics as she helps design the spandex and capes of the city's most beloved heroes. This sounds like a comedy waiting to happen, frankly. I might have to. Yeah, I might have to go check this out. This sounds funny in different ways. All right, from there we'll move into Anime Japan news. Jesse and I are fans of Japanese animation. V.
Watch it.
Yeah. This one actually, though, isn't necessarily about animation. It's about a live-action adaptation. We know that there is a Ghost in the Shell movie in the works in Hollywood. We know that it stars Scarlett Johansson. It was announced this week that they appear to have found a writer for a script. Or to overhaul the script, I guess. They've hired Jonathan Herman to rewrite the script before it goes into production next year. Interesting choice considering the last movie he worked on. Jonathan Herman is the writer behind the Straight Outta Compton movie.
I'm not real familiar with that movie. What was it about?
Straight Outta Compton is the biography movie of the NWA. You know, the rap group that started with Ice-T and Eazy-E in the late 80s, early 90s. If this means that Major Motoko Kusanagi raps throughout the film, I'm out. But, you know, I'm willing to at least wait for the trailer before I make a decision. This could be pretty cool. I don't know. I guess I'm just being optimistic.
Ghost in the Shell is one I've heard about, but I know nothing about the premise.
You should probably watch the film. It's an interesting cyberpunk story about the near future. Cybernetics is almost as prevalent as regular human beings. And this has to do with a cyber crimes division that's stationed mostly by cyborg individuals. Including one lady who I think the only real part of her is her brain. That's the Major. I thought it was interesting anyway. You know, I'm not much for musicals based on animated series. I'm also not a big fan of Rurouni Kenshin. But that particular musical play is making the rounds right now, and one of the things that's very notable is the entire cast is female.
Really?
Yeah, every member of the Rurouni Kenshin musical cast is a woman. This troupe has actually done musicals in the past, including productions for Phoenix Wright, Ocean's 11, Legend of the Galactic Heroes, and now they're working on Rurouni Kenshin. I don't quite know what to say, except the promo poster is interesting enough. My wife is a huge Rurouni Kenshin fan. She would kill me to see this. Take a look. It's actually a pretty interesting poster. They look a lot like their animated counterparts.
Yes, that'd be the benefit for all female cast.
Well, it's not like the entire series is staffed by Bishies or anything. And Rurouni Kenshin's been told so many different ways. There's been very cute tellings, and then there's been very violent tellings.
I don't really know what to say very much about that, except it's very evident they're anime costumes.
Okay. Well, there's a new animated film, it appears, that would be more in V's alley than any of ours, although it might take some work to get her to actually watch this. The movie is a one-shot film called Empire of Corpses.
Okay, it already sounds interesting.
Well, like I said, this sounds way up V's world. It's set in the year 1878 in a world very similar to ours in that same period, except the main version of slave labor in this world is reanimated corpses.
All right.
Interesting.
I like it so far.
The reanimated corpses are so prevalent, they handle almost every menial job. On the streets of London, they're waiters and porters. In British India, they make up armies. They pull river barges and cruise ships at sea. They even take dictations or take down everything they see happen in the world around them. According to this animated film, Dr. Frankenstein was a real person and so was his monster, which leads into an entire science built around reanimating bodies, basically.
Interesting.
That and that Charles Babbage actually built the analytical engine he was designing in the 1830s, dragging the world into the computing age over a century before our world.
Oh, nice. Huh, that does sound interesting.
So it sounds like this whole thing centers around steampunk zombies.
I like steampunk. I'm down with zombies. So yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, this sounds very much like V's kind of thing. Me, if I came across it, I'd probably watch it. It just doesn't sound like something I'd actively seek. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it appears that according to a review on Kotaku, Empire of Corpses is a mixture of classic literature and historical fiction. All fictional characters reimagined for this film are Frankenstein, Dr. Watson, and Halliday.
Halliday?
Watson?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doc Holliday?
Halliday Lilith.
Oh.
Never heard of her.
She was a character from Around the World in 80 Days.
I haven't seen that.
But it also draws on real world history. Also, characters in this film are Sego Yamazawa, Ulysses S. Grant, and Thomas Edison.
Interesting.
Wow, somebody either they did a lot of research or they just started throwing names in because it sounded like fun.
Hopefully they did research.
Yeah, I hope it's the former. And last up in anime and Japan news, there was a Japanese lawyer that was asked online via the website Oshiete-gu. It's a question and answer site, and somebody asked him about the legality of cosplay. The answer was probably not what they were looking for. The lawyer, his name is Yuji Okuma, and he admitted that creating costumes for one's own use is considered reproduction for personal and private use, and is permitted, but making costumes for friends to use or ordering a costume from a business would probably not be, since it wouldn't qualify as personal and private use. He advised cosplayers to first investigate who holds the copyright for the characters they're impersonating, but acknowledged that obtaining such permission would not be so easy in a hurry. Yeah, that's definitely not the answer cosplayers were looking for.
At least it's an honest answer.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you build it yourself, you're all good. If you bought it from somebody third party or asked a friend to do it for you, you got a problem. Suck. We'll move forward into nerd interest news. That's where we talk about news stories that are more technological, sociological, and innovative. V, have you heard of a starburst galaxy?
Starburst galaxy? No, I don't think so. Vaguely.
A starburst galaxy is a term for a galaxy that spawned new stars at such an amazing rate that astronomers call them starburst galaxies. One such galaxy is called M94, and there's an image of it for you to see.
Yes, please.
You are just way into this astronomical stuff. It almost looks like the kind of thing you'd expect to see as a special effect in a 1990 Star Trek series.
Yeah, completely transparent.
Yeah, I didn't know that galaxies actually
pretty.
spawned stars. I don't know where I assume stars come from. I just didn't think galaxies created them.
Well, I mean, stars come from nebula, which come from space debris, so therefore they are from.
Well,
galaxies.
it looks like all the stars is forming on the outer edges of this galaxy. They have barely any is formed in the center, in the center area.
Or at least that's what we're seeing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could also be that whatever's in the center is just producing so much light, it's hard to determine what exactly is in the middle.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like there's still nebula clouds in the center, so nothing's hasn't formed yet, or very little has.
Well, again, we don't know. It's not like we've done any own exploration in the center of our own galaxy here, so we don't know
Yeah,
what's
we're
in
on
it.
we're on the outer reaches of ours.
Yep. Also, there's a pair of stars that are so in love with each other, they're connected, and they may be heading for one hell of an interesting disaster. The stars are called VFTS 352. It is an over-contact binary star, the most massive ever seen. Over-contact binary stars are two stars that are so close that they're actually touching and sharing combined mass. Except in this case, the combined mass is 57 times the size of our own sun.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, they say that this will either end two ways. Either one star will end up being burned out and completely consumed by the other, or it's conceivable that the two will merge in explosive fashion. This particular star group is 160,000 light years away. So don't worry, it's not exactly in the neighborhood. But take a look at this rendition of what this star looks like, man. That would be an amazing sight to see from a planet.
Oh, damn. Well, until your planet got incinerated.
Wow.
Yeah. It's two twin stars that orbit each other in a little over 24 hours. God damn, they'd be spinning fast. The cores are 7.4 million miles apart. Holy cow, that's
I
hard
would
to
like
even
to see
conceive.
that exploding. That would be fun.
You want to see it explode? You are a violent chick.
Aww.
To put it in perspective, here's where you can find that star in a starscape. It's a little hard to see.
Yeah, of course.
Usually over contact binary stars don't last long due to the volatile nature of it. This one sustaining itself this long is kind of a miracle in and of itself. You can bet that astronomers are going to be staring at this to find out how this ends. There was a conference in Malaysia that sounded interesting, but unfortunately it had to be canceled. It was the Congress on Love and Sex with Robots.
What?
Oh, God.
The Congress on Love and Sex with Robots is the brainchild of David Levy. He's the author of Love and Sex with Robots, a book, and he specializes in robotic software, and he works with his friend Professor Adrian David Koch, who focuses on the hardware that'll comprise future robots. He even said, quote, "I'm developing hardware that would be used in robots that will become our friends, lovers, and even sexual partners," unquote. Levy has suggested that sexual relations with robots will be normalized around the year 2050. Now, the organizers of the Congress on Love and Sex with Robots, they saw a world coming of advanced robotic companionship, and they want to unpack the issues surrounding the subject. In other words, they're not here to find out, okay, how can we fuck a robot? They're here to discuss what would a relationship with a robot be like, what would it entail, what kind of steps are needed to get there, what would that do to the human psyche, things like that. They held a conference in Portugal that drew about 40 participants who all presented papers on the issues. So, you know, it's more of an intellectual ideology discussion, right? Well, people in Malaysia found out there was this thing coming called the Congress of Love and Sex with Robots and ordered it canceled.
Of course they did.
Because they didn't understand what it was about. According to Chuck, the hardware specialist, quote, "It spiraled out of control. A lot of people read the title without looking at the actual content of the website and realizing it was purely academic. I think they thought people would be having sex with robots there or something strange like that," unquote.
Which is funny, though.
Yeah, I would think that too.
Well, the Inspector General of the police in Malaysia, Khalid Abu, he ruled the conference illegal and effectively shut it out of Malaysia, releasing a statement that said, quote, "There's nothing scientific about sex and robots. It is an offense to have anal sex in Malaysia. What more with robots?" Unquote. Holy crap. You know, it's nice to know that people actually read things before they make decisions on it. Well, a DEA agent is under arrest for an interesting problem.
What?
He's been sentenced to 6 years for Bitcoin theft.
How does one steal a Bitcoin?
I am so glad you asked. Now, this is the lead undercover DEA agent in the investigation of the Silk Road. Okay, this is the lead agent in charge of shutting down the black market site, the Silk Road.
Okay.
This agent, his name is Carl M. Force, which, oh my god, that sounds like a movie name, frankly.
Right?
He was in communication with Ross Ulbricht, who was the founder of the Silk Road. And what they found out was, as the screen handle French Maid, which is a second name for a pseudonym of Knob, which was already known to the DEA, Carl Force persuaded Ulbricht to pay him in bitcoins for information about a fictional corrupt government employee. In other words, it could have been as simple as a sting, prove bribery and stuff like that, right? But instead of revealing the payments to the DEA he took, Force took the bitcoins, converted them to cash, and then deposited them in several personal bank accounts.
Okay.
So he got the creator of the Silk Road to pay him for tips on a fictional corrupt employee, then took the payments, and instead of reporting them, he pocketed them all. Force later illegally used his role in a Bitcoin currency exchange to seize a client's account and steal the Bitcoins.
Right.
He was ordered to pay $340,000 in restitution in addition to the 6 years in prison. He's not the only one actually... Yeah, he's not the only government official convicted on this. A Secret Service agent named Sean Bridges, also a movie name, he was convicted of stealing 20,000 Bitcoins and liquidating them into $820,000 through a Japanese currency exchange during the Silk Road investigation.
Huh.
Wow. Might need to double up on the background checks for government employees.
Who's doing the background checks on the background check people?
Probably the people doing the background checks on the background checks when they have time between background checks.
Stop it.
And in between it all is a woodchuck who chucks wood.
Called Chuck.
Hey, what is YouTube Red?
Paid for it's a subscription you pay to YouTube to stop getting advertisements.
That's all it is?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
I've never heard of it, actually.
I heard that YouTube was offering a new service that you could pay into to stop getting ads. I didn't know what exactly
that's
it was
YouTube
called.
Red.
Okay. Well, because of YouTube Red, some YouTubers are predicting the end of the website.
Why?
That may be dramatic, but YouTube has been talking to content creators about its subscription plans and prioritizing user experience above everything else. What that means is if the creators don't sign a YouTube Red contract, their videos will be marked as private, so nobody can see them.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. YouTube Red subscribers would be unable to access videos that non-subscribers have access to. So either you're on YouTube Red or you're not, is the gist of what I'm getting here. And if you're on YouTube Red... Yeah, if you're on YouTube Red, you can't get the videos everyone else sees. If you're on the regular YouTube subscriptions, you can't see Red stuff. Holy shit, that's fucking weird.
That's...
You think if you're...
They have to fix that if they...
Yeah.
No.
According to a YouTube spokesperson who talked to Gizmodo, quote, both creators and users have been asking for a YouTube subscription service, and that's why we built YouTube Red. Today, the overwhelming majority of our partners, representing nearly 99% of the content watched on YouTube, have signed up. Videos of partners who don't update their terms will be made private, but we remain committed to working closely with these partners with the goal of bringing them on board, unquote. I imagine the 1% of people who haven't signed up are probably the people who make money on YouTube, you know? The ones who actually have hundreds of thousands of subscribers.
One of the guys I watch on YouTube actually is going for that, and he's got over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah. One YouTuber started a petition called Stop YouTube Red. Wow. Okay. There is a gamer with over 800,000 subscribers named Jesse Cox. Their reaction on Twitter is, quote, so far, this is all we know about YouTube Red. 1, horrible name. 2, the rich get richer. 3, no one knows what it means for the other 99% of YouTube, unquote.
Yeah. And, I listened to another guy about who actually talks to the people at YouTube. Basically, what I got from his talk about it is it's gonna suck for people with low subscriber counts and making shorter videos. But he said in the long run, it's supposed to be beneficial for content creators. As for people subscribing to it, not so much.
I don't know. This may open the door for Twitch now that they have offline video or non-streaming video capabilities coming.
Well, YouTube Red's supposed to give that ability as well.
Well, YouTube Red is already a non-streaming service. I'm just saying if it's going to be that confusing, I'm saying if it's going to be that confusing, it may give people the excuse they're looking for to move to Twitch.
They need an excuse?
Some people do. You know, YouTube has more brand visibility when it comes to non-streaming videos, but Twitch has made a lot of a lot of inroads into moving out of not being just a streaming service, but also being a video service. Speaking of videos, there are some inmates in South Carolina who are getting an additional 20 years of solitary confinement for making a rap video. And they posted it on a hip-hop site called WorldStar.
Really?
This was dangerously close to what the fuck. What happened was the inmates did release a rap video. The question was, how did they do that? These are all people who are supposed to be in maximum security. How did they get a video camera of any sort?
And was able to cut it.
Yeah, they were able to cut it, edit it, create music, and post it online somehow. Apparently they did all this via cell phones. Somehow they got cell phones into this prison and used the cell phones to tape the video.
Again, another problem.
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. Additional punishments were being handed out on the basis of being a security threat group or gang-related materials, possessing a contraband cell phone, and it added a combined 7,150 days or 19.75 years in solitary confinement for the inmates as a whole. I don't know what that means to the individuals.
Damn.
They also lost years' worth of canteen, phone, and visitation privileges, as well as good time accrued. The sad part is... Yeah, the sad part is, I'm sure they were arguing it, but all the evidence you need to show that this happened is the video.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why this got caught was the video went viral.
So they released a good video.
Yep. According to an investigative researcher at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, his name was David Moss, quote, "When the video went viral the first time, viewers caught a fleeting glimpse of the creative energy that exists behind bars. Now that we know how dearly each inmate paid for their participation, the video takes on all new significance. People in this country are still sacrificing their freedom and well-being for expression," unquote. Fuck, pump your brakes just a minute there. They're not being punished for being creative. They're being punished for breaking the rules in a prison. And they're already in prison. This isn't some First Amendment thing. This is, you broke the rules and you're already in trouble.
Yeah.
I mean, they want to express themselves, fine, but I'm sure there are channels to get this shit done that didn't involve contraband cell phones and things, you know?
Right.
Sheesh. Disneyland is testing a new technology. It's something called Magic Bands.
Magic bands? Like a wristband thing?
Yeah, think of it as an e-wristband that can help you get fast passes and track your movements throughout the park. It's similar to the ones used at Walt Disney World currently. There's no time frame as to when the system is going to hit the whole of the Disneyland resort at this time. You know, I have mixed feelings about this because I don't want someone to have the ability to track everywhere I've been within the park necessarily. Because you know they're going to...
Children.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be great for families to be able to track each other if you could connect that to a quick app and just figure out where which bands have gone.
Yeah, be like, where are all my people?
Yeah, really. Apparently this has been used with moderate success in Walt Disney World for a while, and it would lessen the stress a little bit. Last few times I've gone to the park and tried to use a fast pass, you have to insert your ticket into a kiosk, which will then spit out a new ticket that shows the time you're allowed to come back to that particular ride in whichever time window. Instead of having a bunch of cards in my pocket, I'd really just rather have the wristband, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But some Floridians were nice enough to post a list of the top tips of what to do at Walt Disney World. Specifically, it's the best 40 tips from moms who go all the time. Some of these are really no-brainers. It's like the number one tip is wear sneakers.
Duh.
What? Dress shoes and pumps are not allowed?
Sandals?
Yeah.
Well, even sandals don't have much of a sole for, like...
No, you'd have to be gelling in sandals.
Yeah.
Item number 2 is actually pretty smart. They say stock up on Disney before Disney. Quote, head to your local stores, Target, Walmart, Party City, or do a Disney haul, and then bring the goods with you for your kids, or ship everything to your hotel before you arrive. You'll save money, and your kids will still have souvenirs, unquote. I like that. That's actually smart. Yeah. That could save you a ton of cash. Let's see. Tip number 3 is bring your own snacks. That's a duh. Tip number 4 is remember where you parked. That's a double duh. Tip number 5, download the Disney My Experience app. And all fast passes, reservations, event times will be at your fingertips.
That sounds like an advertisement, but okay.
Tip number 6 is to download the Walt Disney Wait Times app. Quote, the free Disney World Wait Times app is a great tool to have here. It's not always accurate, but it at least gives a good idea of what rides have really long lines, unquote.
Wouldn't that be all of them?
You'd be surprised. Some lines can be stunningly short, and others you could be there long enough to have children, frankly. Tip number 7, don't hesitate to ask for ice water. Quote, leave your bottled water at home, it's too heavy to lug around, and simply walk up to any counter service or snack station that serves soda and ask for a cup of ice water. They'll happily give you one, always. Unquote. Now, to their credit, though, most of the people giving these tips are moms, and I've watched people in like theme parks. They're more likely to be nice to women than they are to men in general, so I don't know how that would work for somebody like me.
Yeah, well, I think that's generally true, just sociologically.
Pretty much, yeah. Tip number 8, get there early. Duh. Tip number 9, use extra magic hours.
Magic hours?
What's that?
Yeah, quote, if you're staying at a Disney resort, definitely take advantage of the extra magic hours, unquote. If you stay at a Disney resort when you're going to a Disney park, there are corresponding days where people staying in the resorts can get into a particular park an hour early. Like ahead of the rope drop, ahead of the people who are just waiting in line. Tip number 10, I disagree with. Find the Starbucks.
As in, get caffeine?
Yeah. I am not that guy. Tip number 11, I agree with wholeheartedly. Make food reservations. You can actually reserve certain restaurants at the Disney parks. Quote, this is a great way to be able to sit down, take a break, and cool off. Most restaurants in the parks and downtown Disney, and the hotels for that matter, will be fully committed, and you usually can't just walk in, unquote. Tip 12 is don't wait in line for princesses. That sounds rude. Quote, if you've got a princess worshiper, do yourself a favor and book a breakfast at Cinderella's Royal Table in Magic Kingdom or lunch at Askerhus Royal Banquet Hall in Epcot with the princesses. That way your princess will get to meet all of the leading ladies, minus the Frozen sisters, unfortunately, and you won't have to wait in a single line. It's pricey, but well worth it, unquote.
Convenience.
A bit. And food. Tip number 13, eat at beaches and cream soda shop. Okay. Tip 14, oh God, as a parent, I can agree with this. Make sure kids go potty before getting in lines.
I can imagine I can picture that.
Yeah. Tip number 15, use your rolling fast pass. Quote, before arriving, you can book up to 3 fast passes online. Then once you have used them all, you can locate a fast pass kiosk and make one more fast pass reservation. Once you use that one, head back and repeat. You can use this all day long. There are lines at the kiosk, but I promise those lines are way shorter than the lines for the actual rides, unquote. Let's see, use fast passes wisely, use the rider switch service. Quote, if guests in your party can't or won't ride a ride, if they're too scared, too short, or too teenagery, then you don't have to miss out too. One adult can wait with a non-rider while the rest of the party experiences the attraction. Then once the riding adult in the party returns, the waiting adult can then board the attraction without having to wait in the regular line again. Just tell a cast member at the beginning of the line and they will take care of you. Your riding child can even go twice, once with each parent, unquote.
Oh, wow.
That is useful.
You know, and that's the thing they've been doing for years, because I remember the first time I went to Disneyland, I chickened out on the, what's the name of that? Space Mountain? I chickened out of that, but I was like, 4 or 5?
Oh, yeah?
Something scared that shit out of me there, and I forget which one of my parents went on, but one went on, then the other one, almost immediately after. I got to hear that story a couple days ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. I just kind of assumed, okay, if they don't go, then I get to sit and wait. Have fun, honey. Let's see. Rent strollers elsewhere. Apparently, they recommend that if you're not bringing a stroller, think about renting one from a baby's best friend. You save money, they deliver to your hotel room, and you don't have to leave it at the park. Tip number 19, make your stroller stand out. Oh, God, can I relate to that? There are strollers parked everywhere in these parks. Number 20, bring a stroller for kids who have aged out of their strollers.
Huh?
In other words,
too big for it?
Well, there are strollers for kids who are 5 and 6, and yeah, the parks can be a little bit exhausting for, just above toddler age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, gotcha.
Bring 2 strollers instead of a double. Oh, please, God. When people bring double strollers and take up whole lanes like that, I hate that. Bring a clip-on stroller fan. Buy themed gifts when you see them. Quote, all stores are not equal when it comes to the gift stores at the park. For example, you'll find the best selection of Star Wars stuff outside the Star Tours ride in Hollywood Studios, and Star Wars gear is scarce outside of that. We have made the mistake of telling our kids they should wait to see what they want until the end, and then had to walk all the way back to locate the one item they had their hearts set on, unquote. See, tip 24, give your kids a gift card. Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Bring an autograph book and marker. Bring your princess dresses. Bring cheap, colorful ponchos. Don't have to worry about that so much in California, but Florida, okay. Don't forget a rain cover for the stroller. Utilize the baby care centers. I didn't even know they had... Well, maybe that's a Disney World thing. I haven't seen one. God, this would be important for families. Have a lost plan. Quote, kids get lost at Disney all the time, but you and your child can be better prepared for it if you have a plan in place, unquote. Tip number 31 is avoid the fiery shows. Okay, time out. What? It's fire. You need to see fire. Tip 32, take a siesta. Tip 33, bring your own glow sticks. Surprised that's allowed. Tip 34, leave during the fireworks.
So kids don't get scared?
Quote, this might sound crazy if you're a big fireworks lover, but if you're sort of indifferent towards them, then heading out of the Magic Kingdom during the fireworks is a no-brainer. Everyone else will be stopped and looking up at the sky, which means you'll be able to fly out of there without fighting any crowds, unquote.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Tip number 35, go during a party. Quote, plan to go to the Magic Kingdom for Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party or Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Tickets are a tad cheaper, lines are a lot shorter, and usually it's a bit cooler, unquote. Let's see, tip 30. I've been to a Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party at Disneyland. It's amazing. The tickets are about $20 cheaper. You only get in starting at 4 p.m., but the one time I've gone, we didn't wait for anything more than 7 minutes.
Oh, nice.
They actually limit the attendance in the park during the evening hours. If you don't have a special pass, you're not allowed. They don't throw you out, but you can't pass certain areas, which means you can't get on any rides. Tip 35, point out food allergies, or it's 36, sorry. Spend half a day at Animal Kingdom. Pick one parade to see. Oh, really? Yeah, you could spend all day watching parades. When all else fails, hop on the People Mover. And the final tip, go on December 10th. Quote, I feel like I might be breaking some sort of Florida resident code here, but December 10th is the best day to visit a Disney park. Don't ask me exactly why that's such a magical date. Just know that if you can make it work, you will not be disappointed, unquote.
So that's secret?
I don't know. She's not saying anything beyond that. I'm kind of curious to know what the hell that means. Although I doubt I'll find that on a website. Well, last up is our What the Fuck Corner, where we talk about those stories from across the internet that just make you ask how the fuck this could occur. And we have video game videos.
Oh, fun.
Yep, first up is from a game we don't usually talk about, Uncharted 2. They call it the Jumping Dead Guy, according to the channel of the Archaeology of Tomb Raider. The Jumping Dead Guy. You know there's got to be something wacky happening here. I sent the video. So we see the hero crossing a narrow beam across mountain formations. There's someone passed out there. Wait. Whoa!
Whoa!
Who's flinging bodies?
Random dead guy.
Quick, knock him off.
What
happened there?
Had a hiccup.
Yeah, quick, knock him off. Throw George. That was bizarre. But that's okay, because the next video is from a game that's turning in way too many of these lately. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. There is a video of Big Boss doing something that is very befitting of Monty Python's Silly Walks. This is from user Turk645, and they call this Silly Run, breaking the animation code. I sent the video. There's Big Boss zipping around. His legs seem to be in a few places. And, wow, what's with... Okay! And there he goes goose-stepping all over the place. And he's really kicking.
I think he's Russian now.
He's having a little problem with his nervous... Wait. Oh, and he just ground slammed one of his own workers.
I'm having flashbacks to the babushka dance.
The one they do on the streets or the ones from the Addams Family? Because there is a difference.
The ones from the Addams Family.
Okay.
That's the only one I've seen, so...
All right. Well, I'm not quite sure where this next video came from. Oh, that's right. The next video came from The Witcher 3. The user behind this particular video is Gabriel Minari, and it's called Geralt is a Jedi and a Show-Off. I sent the video. Now, I've seen this video, and you'll see Geralt show off a very interesting magic trick.
Of course she did.
He eats without his hands. See the spoon just floating up to his face?
Spoon.
Master Dandelion! Priscilla, she's...
I mean, you know there's...
Speak, man.
I can't speak. He's eating without his hands. That's one of those random breaks where you know he was doing something programmed up until that second, and yet the spoon forgot. The next video is from the Star Wars Battlefront beta. This came from a user called Turtle Puck. It's titled, That Moment When You Realize Who You're Chasing.
Oh, God.
Yep. I sent the video. Okay, so we have a player on Hoth playing as a member of the Rebel Alliance. Nice jump.
Mm-hmm.
Took out an Imperial. And he sees somebody. They're definitely on his radar. He's chasing them. Jumping over a snowdrift, and holy shit, it's Vader! Back up, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up! I ain't dealing with this. No way, man. Ah, he got you. Lightsaber!
Guillotine.
At least he had the presence of mind not to just charge in guns a-blazing. He knew when to back the frick up.
Vader? Nope.
And Vader says, off with your head.
Yeah. Vader just said, don't you run from me, boy.
No,
the last
you can't run from me, boy.
Last video comes from user Via4876, and the title of this one kind of buries the lead. It's called Punch an Imperial Walker to Death. I sent the video. So there you see a rebel running next to an AT-AT. He's unloading into it. He definitely wants it dead. Grenades, snow speeders firing at it. I think it's taking a pounding.
It is not dead.
No, he's still running. That thing is tough. I guess... Nope, he's still got ammo. Now he's punching the foot. And he killed it. He punched the foot and killed it and won the match. Screw Luke Skywalker. That's the hero of the Rebel Alliance right there.
Wow.
Nobody told me
You
Colossus...
should not be able to punch an AT-AT. It's just no.
Well, not do damage to it. You can punch it, but you shouldn't be able to do any damage to it.
Yeah, if you punch it, you should hurt yourself.
See, what you don't know is there is a scene deleted from The Empire Strikes Back where Princess Leia bestowed a medal onto the hero who punched the AT-AT to death. His name was Clark Kent. It turns out Russians are also Star Wars fans, which I know is not news to some people, but someone's taken this to a very, 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 very serious degree. Are you aware of the Lenin statue in the Ukraine?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Lenin statue in Odessa, Ukraine. It's a Soviet era Vladimir Lenin. An artist has gotten their hands on it ahead of the release of Star Wars Episode 7, and he's converted it.
Don't.
Vladimir Lenin is no longer standing in a city square in Odessa. Darth Vader is.
Oh, God.
Take a look. He painted the statue, added a few accoutrements, and bam, Darth Vader.
That's pretty good.
I'm of mixed minds about this because I'm not a Lenin fan, but I will not denounce the role he had in history. At the same time, that's excellent work.
I wonder if he's going to get into any trouble for this.
I've wondered that myself, and I can't say for sure.
I would imagine so.
Technically, he's defacing a monument.
Technically, yeah. And there is something that came up in my feed that I had to share, and I haven't listened to it yet. I'm sending you guys a link so you can find it. Somebody put together a mashup of Final Fantasy VI and the Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh. This should be fun.
Yeah, the album that this person put up online is called Final Fantasy: The 36 Chambers. It's a reference to the Wu-Tang Clan's debut album, Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers.
Okay.
This was done by somebody who goes by the handle of 2Mellow. He's best known for his video game world of Chrono Jigga, which is a mashup that combined Jay-Z and Chrono Trigger. I'm worried, but I'm going to try to be optimistic. Well, that's Final Fantasy music for sure.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm done.
Yeah. No.
Nope.
Well, it needs to get past the refrain. It is a mashup of the Wu-Tang, after all.
Check these up-top murderers. Snowy in the bezel as the cloud merges. FBI try one word with this kid who pulls
I cannot get behind this.
No, me either.
I'm finding it interesting. It's not something I'm used to thinking about, but it's got the timing interesting. Never been a Wu-Tang fan by trade, though.
Since the face been revealed, game got real. Radio been gassing niggas, my imposters. Scream the ill, I'm the inventor. 86 rhyming at the
Never been a fan of gangster rap in general, though. The amount of profanity always just kind of cuts through my eardrums.
Oh yeah, me
It's
too.
just so pointless. It's just like, why are we swearing? There's not even anything to swear about. Saying the same word like 7 times.
Props for doing that. Not my jam.
Mine.
This makes me more curious for the Chrono Jigga stuff with Jay-Z and Chrono Trigger, but this particular one doesn't sit well for me.
Jay-Z is at least a little more
mellow.
Mellow, that's a good word, yeah.
I'm gonna back out of that right now. It was a shot. How do you guys turn on lights in your homes?
Like
not with an app.
With an app? Is that what you
not
said?
Not with an app.
Not with an app. Okay. Have you ever been able to turn on your lights by slapping them?
I got a toggle switch in my room, so I accidentally brush up against it. So.
Okay. How about?
Have had a lamp at one point that I could slap to turn on.
Okay. How about stroking it?
Okay, unless
where are
it's
you going with this?
Unless it's penis shaped, like I don't know what kind of lamp that would be.
All right. How about pinching it?
Contacts.
Need contacts.
There is a light you can get via a startup company for £149 UK or $228.36 in US dollars. It's called the Slap It. I sent you the image right now. It's also known as the butt lamp.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it comes in 10 different fun colors, including red, blue, teal, white, and peach. It's also covered by a certain amount of rubber and silicone type material. So to turn it on, you can touch it, you can pinch it, you can slap it, and that will cause it to turn on.
Yeah, this would be a great thing to have for a fan of Dr. Manhattan.
I think this would be a great thing to have in certain households where you just don't care about aesthetic.
I want one. My boyfriend just said he
I
wanted
generally
one
don't
too,
care,
so-
but I do have some particular standards.
Well, here's a
But
GIF
this
that
is
came off
fitting
the.
my standards.
Yeah, here's a GIF from a website of somebody turning on and off the slap-its. Take a look at this, because they turn them on with touches, hits, pinches,
Oh my god.
all
that's
over
awesome.
the place.
Why do I get Simon playing through my head?
I don't know. I'm just that first light. I know it's a trick of the lens catching up to the light. However, the light slowly receding into the anus there is kind of disturbing.
I'm too entertained by this. I must have one.
Could you imagine just walking into the room and slapping the wall to get the light to turn on? It's funny in several respects. I found it humorous as soon as I came across it.
I have cats. I'm worried they're going to play with the damn thing.
Wouldn't that be something you use a laser pointer, stick a red dot in it, and all of a sudden it taps it and the whole thing lights up red and the cat just goes, "What the hell, man?"
Someone do that. Someone do that.
I will get one and test with my cat.
And then all of a sudden there's this picture of the gigantic red ass with a cat stuck on it, gnawing on it. I know it's in there somewhere. Last up in What the Fuck, last week, ESPN screwed up a little. Well, actually, no. The ESPN network screwed up a little bit. Just a little bit. In a post-game interview, they sent one of their cameramen and interviewers into the Cincinnati Bengals locker room for just a simple post-game interview. They had managed to come back and won the game in rather spectacular fashion. And while talking with Adam Jones, someone forgot to tell the cameraman to focus on Adam Jones because he did this nice, kind of half-pan shot. And while they were talking to Jones post-game, several of his teammates were walking around without towels, clothes, or anything else.
Oh. I bet some people were happy for that video.
Oh, I have no doubt whatsoever. I have not seen the video yet, and it's not a YouTube. I'd have to pull that out somewhere else. But I sent you guys the link on Screen Grabber just because I'm so curious. According to the story, after that interview was done, the NFL Game Day live staff could not stop laughing about it.
I'm ready if we're going to play this.
Oh, I want to play this. I want to see this. And I will say that this particular video, very non-safe for work.
All right,
okay, Game Day Live. Oh, there's Adam Jones.
Get out to an early lead. Come back
you see that
bit. Third quarter, it's just
tall dude in the background?
I guess in the NFL, 2 long drives, you guys shut them down on defense. What went on at the half and what changed in the third quarter?
Okay, that guy's got a towel and he's taking off his drawers.
At least he was considered the best camera.
There's an ass right past his shoulder. You see that?
Yeah.
We came out pretty good.
That's an ass.
We gave up that one cheesy touchdown with the quarterback scramble, but I think besides that we played.
Oh my God! I hope nobody snaps a towel.
Okay, at the end of the game too, you shut them down and give the ball back to your offensive kneel on it. Was that me?
There's another ass.
Oh yeah, it's always meaningful, man.
It is hard to take what he's saying seriously right now.
In the season,
dude, that guy's really struggling with that towel.
That's a big stop, but.
Wow. Wowie zowie. What an
wow.
Yeah. It's amazing.
It was not as interesting as I was hoping, but
I want to know what they're. I want to know what precisely they're calling amazing right now because there's so many things that happened there. I wonder if they got fined for that, or I wonder if somebody just called up and said, "Excuse me, do you have a copy of that video? Because I really need to study it for plays and
was
things."
Was this played on national TV?
Live NFL Network.
Oh, that one guy's lucky he didn't drop the towel.
He did open it up slightly. There was a penis that came out of that.
Oh, I didn't hardly see it.
Well, he was very dark-skinned. I'm sure it was hidden in the thrush. If you will, we just saw the on-screen debut of the Black Panther.
Okay.
And I will drop the microphone, and I'm done with that.
Now you have to come back. You got to finish the show.
The story of this week is the Peter David run on She-Hulk. Specifically, I asked him to check into the 2008 issues of 22 through 26. And this is kind of new territory for us because as far as I know, most of the people in this room have not read She-Hulk on their own in any format.
No.
It's a character I'm a fan of, but it's not one that's ever really gained a lot of followers and, I guess you could say, pop culture acclaim through the decades.
I know literally nothing about, or rather, I knew literally nothing about She-Hulk other than that she was green and possibly in some relation to the Hulk.
Okay, well, a little bit of background. Jennifer Walters was a lawyer who, after she was attacked, received a blood transfusion from her cousin, Bruce Banner. That gave her the ability to transform into the She-Hulk, and like the Hulk, she can have as many rage issues as the Hulk does, but whereas Bruce Banner's Hulk is his inner child given voice, the She-Hulk is more or less all of Jennifer Walters'
inner teenager?
I was going to say inner ego. It's her ego come out in given form.
It is?
I mean, most of the time she doesn't even go around as Jennifer Walters. She prefers life as the She-Hulk. She-Hulk is...
Being green and a lady is rather fetching.
Well, the She-Hulk is taller, more statuesque, more self-confident, stronger, more durable. It's everything a regular human being is not.
Mm-hmm.
And while she's been shown she can go savage and go crazy, that is just not her normal mode. She usually is pretty well in control of things. These particular issues are just after the Civil War occurred. And the She-Hulk came down on the side of registration. However, she became very disillusioned with being a hero after that because she had to spend so much time putting away people she knew.
Didn't she end up suing, help J. Jonah Jameson sue Peter Parker?
She represented him shortly. It was either that or allow him to get a real shark lawyer instead of somebody who could control him.
Mm.
I mean, the first issue, it was kind of interesting because it sets up the new status quo where Jennifer Walters has been disbarred as an attorney, so instead she's serving as a super-powered bounty hunter. She works specifically trying to find supervillains. And I gotta admit, the first guy that they're chasing down, Highlight, I almost felt for the guy throughout the issues because he came off as just truly pathetic.
Yeah.
All he wanted to do was steal stuff and get some money, and he accidentally causes a security guard to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
And he was even doing CPR as the police were trying to arrest him.
Yeah, it's like, let me save this damn guy. Oh, God.
He did. He saved the guy's life. You know, to his credit, he saved his life, but he was still breaking and entering, attempted grand larceny, yada yada, all this other stuff.
Saving the guy's life probably would have gotten him a lighter sentence if the rest of the thing hadn't happened.
Yeah.
But I think he saves access to keep a murder count off his record.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really help because he jumped bail. His mother apparently put up a $100,000 bond and mortgaged her house. He ran away before the trial started, which caused Jennifer Walters to try to hunt him down as a bounty hunter for a law firm she used to work for, specializing in superpowered individuals and incidents.
With their initials being FBI, and it's not the government.
Yeah, she finds that hilarious in different reasons. The first couple panels involving Walters getting out of an RV and talking to a mysterious partner, I gotta admit, I was thrown when I read that.
Yeah, me too. It's like...
When you read that part?
Isn't that her out there in the body armor?
Yeah, because like I said, Jennifer Walters usually liked being the She-Hulk, but here she is parading around in a bulletproof vest, carrying some kind of bizarre firearm, talking to somebody inside. Inside the RV, I should say.
What the narrative suggests she's already inside the RV. So I find that kind of confusing.
Well, the narrative didn't suggest much more than she was actively seeking the guy. The dialogue, all you knew was she was talking to a partner, and the partner dared her not to turn green. I mean, the obvious implication is don't turn into the She-Hulk.
Right.
You know, Walters goes in and grabs the running villain, Highlight, who is very compliant, oddly enough. He just seems to really not want to trouble people in general.
Either that or he's just a pussy.
Yeah, either one is likely. And then Walters gets surprised from behind by the Absorbing Man, who breaks her neck.
It's like, oh, she's dead?
Yeah, she's dead. You know, he turns out Highlight is the cousin of the Absorbing Man who busts him out. They're getting ready to jack the RV. And coming out of the RV is a mysterious partner who turns out to be the She-Hulk herself.
Yeah.
Full green, large, and pissy. And the issue
that was confusing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, what is going on?
I gotta give the artist credit, though, because I'm not a fan of his overall art style. However, he did a good job of presenting a very kinetic fight scene between the Absorbing Man and the She-Hulk. Well, this artist is Sean Moll. I think it's Moll, M-O-L-L. And as they're throwing punches, a lot of the time the splash pages can get rather generic, but he does a good job of portraying all kinds of different action here. You know, catching punches, throwing elbows. The whole being knocked into the sky thing was an interesting idea. The She-Hulk came back down like a frickin' javelin on his skull. And then while poor Highlight's trying to figure out what to do, I think he wants to stop him from fighting just because they're destroying shit, and there's Jennifer Walters with a broken neck somehow, still carrying the firearm and trying to put him back under arrest.
And the head at an odd angle.
Yeah, the neck's still broken. That's fucking brutal.
I like how she was trying to figure out how to hurt him when he kept taking the properties of all the things that she was hurting him with.
Yes. It's an interesting conundrum she had to fight through. I've never seen anybody portray it like that. But then we find out that the Absorbing Man's wife, Titania, has been shrunk because of Pym particles. She was in Hank Pym's experimental shrunken prison.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, she's still small and inside the She-Hulk's eardrum and punching away.
Ow, that's gotta be the most painful thing ever.
Yeah, I was envisioning that when I was reading it. It was just,
Yeah, I have blown an eardrum once by accident because of internal congestion and just blowing too hard trying to get the mucus out. I blew out my own eardrum.
Ow.
What?
Ow.
Oh my god, I haven't done that, but...
I was in a restroom at a place I was temping at. Fortunately, I had finished most of my work, so time wasn't a problem. I blew my nose, and next thing I knew, it seemed like the world was constantly tilting to the left. I was nauseous. I was really lucky I didn't throw up.
Ugh.
It is disorienting, painful, and just it makes you really want to vomit. You hope it'll make it better. And to think about it in that perspective, that means the She-Hulk is going through that probably every 3 seconds while Titania is pounding on her eardrum.
And on top of all of, she's just healing every hit.
Yes.
So she keeps getting hurt.
And the initial shock of hurt, which means she can't recover from it.
Mm-hmm. Until finally the idiot hits her in the head.
I know. Knocks her out. Creel hits her so hard he knocks Titania out of her ear. That's amazing. I do like the cop that showed up trying to understand what was being destroyed, and then here comes Jennifer Walters, head still tilted to the side, leading out Highlight in cuffs.
Yeah, it's like, is there a problem here? No, I got everything covered.
I like the questioning. How the hell are you doing this? I cuff your hands. I hold the gun at you. It's pretty straightforward. I mean your head. He broke your neck. Carl broke your neck. And you can just bet we'll be having words about that.
Now, I'm a little bit confused as to how Carl died with the water. That was not pretty clear to me.
He didn't die. The problem was he was towards the latter part of this whole thing, which took like 2.5 issues. He was surrounded by water. So much water that his reflexive absorbing powers couldn't ignore it anymore. And he turned into water.
Okay,
and
so...
water really has a difficult time holding form like solid objects do.
Yes.
Point. Okay.
He
absorbs the properties of whatever he absorbs.
So he became water.
In case of water, he became super malleable.
And then, therefore, not really a person anymore.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that
it's
entire...
kind of sucks for him when he's at the beach.
Well, I mean, arguably, you could say he wouldn't be captured because as soon as they drained enough water, he'd be able to reform himself wherever. He just would have... Enough of his cells would have to come into contact with something else. So he probably wasn't...
Considering his cells probably go into different places.
Yeah, it probably took a while. But we did find out towards the latter part of the second issue that it turns out Jennifer Walters is not Jennifer Walters. This diminutive partner is a Skrull by the name of Jacinda.
Which was an interesting twist. I didn't know there was such a thing as a friendly Skrull.
There's been a history of them in the Marvel Universe. I mean, Johnny Storm dated one for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of them was a member of the Fantastic Four for a short stint.
Yeah, the one he dated. Lyra.
Yeah.
No, there are pockets of Skrulls that can be very pragmatic, but as a race, they tend to be very headstrong.
And loyal to the leader.
Skrull Empire?
Yeah, loyal to the Empire and their queen or king or whatever's leading them at the time. I guess you could say the third issue of this run had to do with world building. You get to find out a lot about what the She-Hulk's private life is like, as well as what her partner does, and the fact that they live in a trailer park is very entertaining to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I liked the whole angle with the kid that she...
Yeah, it's like, did you bring us anything? Yes, I did. Boom. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Drops the Absorbing Man's wrecking ball in front of him. That was pretty nice, as well as soon as they get back, the She-Hulk is just asking the daughter of a friend, "Did you take care of my baby?" Yeah, I did. The baby's a fucking motorcycle.
Of course it is.
I did like that she walked into the law firm she worked for to collect her latest bounty, and the receptionist wouldn't even look at her and told her to park it over there, so she drops her motorcycle on the chair.
Well, I always thought it was interesting when she was in front of the building, like she's still carrying the motorcycle.
If you could, you would. I've seen people drag their motorcycles into apartments before.
I've seen too many homeless people drag their bicycles into the restroom.
Yeah, but most of this particular issue seemed to have to do with the emotional connections between various characters in this part of the series.
Yeah, like they took several panels out to establish how deeply the Skrull has daddy issues.
Yeah.
Oh.
And how she deals with those particular issues, as well as how she uncovers it for other people.
Mm-hmm.
There was also, Brand, this Irish guy that was flirting with the She-Hulk at a bar, who wasn't exactly dressed demurely, and then, out of nowhere, set off a bomb. Seems that someone was very desperate to get her attention.
Yeah, that's a very weird thing to do, like, flirt and then bomb. Like, why didn't he just bomb?
I don't
get her
know.
attention?
There's something very specifically personal with her, and I'm curious to know more about what that angle was.
I thought his start, that was hilarious, though, with calling himself Raisin Bran.
Yeah. He claimed his first name was Raisin. You know what? That'd be enough of an icebreaker at any bar to get you laid, frankly.
Yeah.
Between that and the Irish accent, you're pretty much guaranteed to get underwear.
Dude, I don't even know if you'd have to say words, the English words with an Irish accent. You just have to say a few things and be like, okay, you're kind of cute. Let's go back to my place.
Yeah, the other thing is pervasive through not just the first 3 issues we talked about, but all 5 issues we read, was how much She-Hulk seems to be desperate not to be identified as a hero. I don't know if it seems like she has a desire to live a normal life, but all of her instincts are not allowing her to.
Well, I was kind of thinking about that throughout this series. Like, once you're a hero, once you have the qualities requisite for herodom, you kind of have to be a hero, because if you don't, then
not
you don't
necessarily.
Be.
You also have to have the moral.
Well, that's what
standing for it.
That's what I mean. Like, that's part of the qualities for being a hero, like the physical ability to do it, and also the morality of
the moral
compass. I'm not going to let people get hurt if I can prevent it. Like, once you have that, you can't not be a hero, because then you're just going to be tortured all your life, one way or another.
Yeah. Well, issues 25 and 26 had to do with the same storyline of a mysterious alien who came down, apparently on the run from something. And, it had to do more with She-Hulk trying to figure out, I guess, what her standing is, since she doesn't want to be a superhero and can't be a lawyer, and she's trying to understand what her path in life ought to be. The whole thing around the two, not divorcees, but two people having trouble with their relationship, that was heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the alien claiming to be on the run killed the wife, took the husband as a human shield, and then the wife had to be reanimated by another alien, a Badoon, who was hunting the first, just to answer questions, and then as soon as it brings her back to life, it tells her it's only temporary, and you're basically going to disintegrate within an hour or so.
Kind of reminds me of the end of Gurren Lagann, actually.
A little bit, yeah. Japanese animated show, you wouldn't know. Some of the dialogue, though, with She-Hulk trying to pry that pod off her RV. You know,
I don't know.
She seemed like she was very stubbornly obstinate about not finding out things that could lead to hero.
Yeah, this is kind of where I kind of got the idea that she's being a teenager trying to, again, figure herself out, but being a stubborn teenager.
Yeah, I can see that.
I gotta give David credit, though. He knows dialogue. When she's climbing out of the RV as Jacinda's driving, quote, "Frankly, alien girl, I was wondering if this was a friend of yours. I'm a Skrull bounty hunter, Jennifer. Every sentient race hates me, including my own. You're the only friend I have in the galaxy, and some days, I'm not too sure about you either. That's probably wise. Keep us steady. I'm going to lose as a hitchhiker. Hey, I wonder if he knows where his towel is. I swear, Jen.
I laughed at that.
I swear, Jen, there are times I have no blessed idea what you're talking about."
Where did that line with the towel come from? I don't get...
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the
Galaxy.
Every hitchhiker needs a towel.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also nerd cred there.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
I would assume so. He's written for freaking Star Trek.
Peter David's written for Star Trek? When?
He wrote several novels, including Imzadi is the one I can think of off the top of my head, which is basically the story of how Riker and Troy met and fell in love.
Oh.
It's very good.
David does interpersonal relationships very well. I've noticed that. He understands how to give characters voices that don't involve a whole lot of internal monologue, and they're not overly expository. He knows how to tell a story without using too many words.
Agreed.
Shit, that scene where the Marauder's getting ready to fly into the stratosphere with that human strapped to the front of his ship.
Mm-hmm.
And the conversation between the Badoon and the She-Hulk. Holy shit, I nearly laughed myself stupid on that one page. Kazon is not getting away with my ship. Shoot him down and the guy in the front's a goner. That is acceptable to me. Well, not to me. For someone claiming to have no interest in heroics, you're annoyingly interested in everyone else's welfare.
Well, you know what? I have to wonder, does that really count
I love
as
the
heroics,
ultimatum she
though?
gave him, too. I mean, I love the ultimate. I like how it's like, okay, I can live with
Point.
this.
Yeah. Do not want gun in ass.
Well, that was the second half of that set of panels. Throw me up there. I'll take care of the rest. My way, sure. Yeah, but my way doesn't end with me shoving your gun up your back door. You make a compelling argument.
That was great. I did like how that alien turned out to not be innocent.
I have a vague idea what he was. I was expecting, something bad to happen. I didn't expect it, to be that polite.
Well,
what was the deal on on 25 with the suddenly going all breaking the fourth wall and talking about the comic book?
That was a little addendum. There was a few issues prior to Peter David taking over. There was a semi-controversial issue where the She-Hulk had a sex with a Juggernaut. A lot of fans consider that to be very out of character, so that was supposed to be the She-Hulk invading Marvel Comics Studios and trying to find out, why the fuck would you write this story? That makes no sense. So it was just a little tongue-in-cheek thing to address the people who were superbly unhappy.
Okay.
The ending at this run, at the 26th issue, that was super sad. Not just with the woman breaking down and dying, but also, I guess you could say Jacinda taking the step that the She-Hulk wouldn't take and trying to end this before it gets any further.
I think that was a necessary action, honestly. Well, maybe not necessary, but...
I don't know if it was necessary considering that Badoon was there and able to take the guy into custody. And even though
I could see why she would find it to be necessary. I guess what I mean.
That could also be just the behavior of a Skrull. They're known to be very direct about point A to point B, and ethics are not usually high on their priority list.
This seemed like to be an ethical choice for her, though.
I think she considered it a simpler choice because there's the idea of what this Kazon character would do if he was allowed to continue living, and without the ship, obviously this Badoon is going to have to talk to somebody to get off planet. So there's that consideration. But I also wondered if it could be more of a friendly action, because you know that as long as Kazon is alive, even if she doesn't say so, the She-Hulk is going to follow this guy and make sure he doesn't cause trouble, and I wondered if Jacinda was just trying to save her that kind of heartache.
Yeah.
Because that seems like that's what Jacinda seemed to be. She was the flip side of the coin. She was more pragmatic than She-Hulk during this period, but she was also more definitive about what she wanted from the world at this point. Whereas the She-Hulk was still trying to make a large amount of decisions.
She's accepted the role of I'm the killer.
Yeah, I'm going to make the hard choices for her.
At that time, yes. There may be a little bit of history you don't understand about Jacinda. You saw that in, issue 24, where she was looking at that holographic computer device that showed a picture of her father who threatened her.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know who that is?
No.
His name is...
Skrull seem to look the same to me.
Okay, yeah. His name is Kolert. He is a Skrull that was the first to undergo a process, and he has all the powers of the Fantastic Four. In comics, he's known as the Super Skrull.
Yep.
So when he says he's ready to kill something, that's a promise. And apparently if I remember correctly, Jacinda's only crime against her people was not following the wishes of her people. She wanted to be an individual, not part of a collective.
Mm.
She wanted her own path in life, and Skrulls really can't abide by that in general. So
yes, they're hive-minded?
Not hive-minded, they're society-driven. Society-driven. What's best for the Empire is what's best for all Skrulls.
Unfortunately, I think the Kree are the same way.
Yeah, but at this point, if you remember, though, the Skrull Empire lost their homeworld to the Annihilation Wave.
So many things to keep track of.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Skrulls lost their homeworld to Galactus. They lost their colony world to the Annihilation Wave.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they have not had the best history. So, I mean, what did you guys think overall? Because I thought I was entertained by the book, not necessarily because of the characters, but because of Peter David. The guy has this weird way of making characters very relatable.
Yeah, I thought the dialogue was excellent. Like you mentioned earlier, I'm not really a big fan of the art so much, but...
Yeah. The art hurt a little bit, but it was something I could overlook because the story was actually just that compelling to me.
Yeah.
You know, I spent a little while thinking about this yesterday after I read the issues and was double-checking everything. Most writers, when they approach superheroes, they approach them all the same way. They show why it's great to be a superhero. Even with the trials and tribulations, they show the kind of things that make, they make the rewards of superheroics very worthwhile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Peter David, we've read his run on Madrox, we've read his run on the 2008 X-Men, 2005 X-Factor, sorry, and now this 2008 run on She-Hulk, and I think Peter David's voice is, he tells the story from the standpoint of this is why it's not great to be a superhero, but this is why I'll never stop being a superhero.
Yeah.
I like that thinking, actually.
I agree.
Well, it's pervasive in everything we've read of his so far, and I'm not saying that to be denigrating towards his work. I think that's the strength of his work. He has this uncanny way of, and again, the team of X-Factor and now She-Hulk, of bringing him down to the most basic human level and making it relatable to why it's so incredible to be them, but why it could be just utterly awful to be them. And they all struggle with the same thing. It's not like they want to be superheroes, but because of their moralistic leanings and their instincts, they really don't seem to know what else to do with their lives.
It's a switch they can't turn off.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Try as they may.
Just like what I was saying earlier.
You know,
can't, once you have those, once you're a superhero, cannot unsuperhero.
well, this as far as mentality of superheroes, this is up there with Irredeemable. This is one of those things you could write a paper about the relationships of superhumans to normal humans and how they would integrate into societies, conceivably, anyway. It's just the art is not as good as Irredeemable, so sometimes it takes a little work for you to just suspend your disbelief enough to get into the story is the problem. This artist, Stephen Mall, is just not my kind of guy. And I don't think there's a better example for that than the design of Kazon, the villain in the last 2 issues. If you're going to create a one-off character, at least make him grand. This guy looks like a cast-off from the Youngblood series.
I thought it was a woman at first, too.
I could picture that as a problem. Yes, I could.
I was like, wait, it's a man now? Wait, what?
Oh, my goodness. You know, I tried to think about it, and I don't know if I could... I'd have to be selective about recommending this particular run of books to anybody. And again, it's superbly well written, but the art is jarring. So I would have to refer this to my friends that are more cerebral, I would think.
Yeah.
As far
Someone
as
that's not just looking for pretty pictures.
Yeah, as far as in general, I would still recommend Peter David She-Hulk to people in general, but it'd have to be further down the road when he and Maul split ways and another artist took over. I don't know exactly when that is. I'd have to look it up. I stayed pretty focused on the issues we agreed to read.
But there is a switch at some point?
Yes, there is. I mean, what did you guys think? I thought as far as a first introduction to the She-Hulk, this is a pretty good place to jump in, actually.
I thought it was pretty entertaining. I thought it gave a really good portrait of what the character was like. I would liked a little more background.
I will say my opinion is a bit skewed since I kind of read them out of order.
Oh.
I didn't pay attention to the numbers. I read 25 and 26 where they would say, all right, where the hell did all those inks come from? Then I looked at the numbers. Oh, wait a minute. And unfortunately, I couldn't realign everything. I understand where all the inks come from, but now I can't align everything properly now. So,
Well, the She-Hulk character has also been one of the, I guess you could say, stalwart replacement heroes in a lot of teams. She's been an Avenger on and off. She's been a replacement for the Thing in the Fantastic Four on and off. She's been in a couple female-centric team-ups, and now she's going to be one of the featured characters in A-Force. You know, I appreciate this book for what it was. I thought this was the time where it seemed like the She-Hulk would have a regular ongoing, but I don't think she's had an ongoing last more than 100 issues. Either the character doesn't get readers or it doesn't sustain readers.
Which I find interesting because what I understand about her core personality, she's a very upbeat and chipper character.
Generally, yeah, she tends to be not the cheerleader. I guess you could say a moral center.
Yeah,
she tends to talk people up very well. But in this particular run, it was a very dark period in her life, and I think it really accentuated the weird mental struggles of a character like this. You know, you got to admit, it's a lot like the line from Soon I Will Be Invincible. And to paraphrase, when you're tall and have green skin, there's only so many job opportunities you have.
And some of them are illegal.
Yeah, I would share this with people, but this isn't the kind of thing I would just say, here, take these and read these whenever you have time. You'll love this. This would be the kind of series I would recommend, but I'd have to sit down and read it with them. You know, background, have discussions, the whole deal. This isn't the type of thing where somebody could just be left to their own devices, I would say. A little sad. Now that I know who wrote all this, I'm a much bigger fan of Peter David, though. He's turned into one of my favorite writers in comics. He should do more stuff.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I haven't even read all that much stuff. So.
Yeah. I think next week we'll get back into. Actually, next week I'll give you guys a coin flip.
Okay.
There's still
Next
the idea
week,
on the table.
Are you going to be a kamikaze?
Oh yeah, you're right. In 2 weeks, actually. Huh. No.
Don't forget, I will be out 2 weeks from now. So.
Well, okay, so it'll be something in 3 weeks, because next week I broadcast or I record at Kamikaze, and then the weekend after V's off, so we'll just call it a vacation weekend for everybody. In 3 weeks, we can either read the number ones of 3 number ones that have come out from Marvel recently for a review. That would be Amazing Spider-Man, New Avengers, and Sam Wilson Captain America. We'll find out if the controversy holds up. Probably not, but we'll find out. Or I think it may be time that we actually checked out this critically acclaimed book that everyone is barking about. It's getting its second number 1 soon. I would like to dig into it and see if Miss Marvel is worth the hype.
I'm down for that.
I'm down for that.
Miss Marvel?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call it First 6 of Miss Marvel, and it started, last year? No, it started 2 years ago, so it'd be 2013. So this would be the first appearance of the new Pakistani-American-born Kamala Khan Miss Marvel. Let's see if this is worth something. And I have one more thing that needs to be decided before we go our separate ways.
Uh-huh.
Remember, we discussed after we did the Batman Cacophony Comic-Con Theater, we'd like to do one of our own.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow, somebody's really excited all of a sudden.
I like that, doing that.
Okay, well, I was digging into issues of Deadpool since we decided that's the one we would start with. Trying to find a good starting point or arc that had enough characters in it.
Uh-huh.
I found 2 Deadpool arcs that sound like they would be fun to reenact. There is the arc where it's Deadpool versus the Bullseye-dressed Hawkeye.
That one sounds awesome.
It's 3 issues where Bullseye is a member of the Dark Avengers dressed up as Hawkeye, and he's been tasked by Norman Osborn to find and kill Deadpool before he reveals what he knows.
Oh, there's an awesome panel there.
That sounds awesome.
Or the other arc is 1 issue longer, 4 issues. It's from the same set of books, but it's a little further along, where Deadpool tries to become an X-Man.
Oh, I don't know.
Deadpool.
I'm leaning towards the former, but the latter might be interesting too.
Oh
no, there's
There's comedy in both, frankly.
Yes,
but
there is. It's
the reason,
it's fucking Deadpool, man. It's gonna be coming in everything he does.
The reason why I'm leaning toward the latter is simply because while Deadpool versus Bullseye is entertaining, I was flipping back through it. There's not a lot of female roles in that. And V, since you're one of the most energetic ones about this idea, I'd like to get you centrally involved. The other 4 issues where he tries to be an X-Man involves a lot of guest roles by a lot of different individuals. You'd have to find a few voices, but one of the feature players in this 4 issues is Domino.
Okay.
She's a sassy gunslinger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you got?
At different voices, but I'll practice.
Okay, so what do you think? Deadpool versus Bullseye or Deadpool versus X-Men?
I think Deadpool versus X-Men.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, so that's from the 2008 run, I think, issues 15 through 18.
We might have to do a dress rehearsal.
I don't know about dress rehearsal because that would ruin some of the fun of just doing this stuff. We may just have to spend a little time figuring out voices and what we want to do, though.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
The only thing that I do kind of lament about not doing the Bullseye one, there was one panel where Bullseye tried to run over, or no, Deadpool tried to run over Bullseye in a monster truck.
Yes.
He missed, and Bullseye pulled out a rocket launcher and fired it at him. Deadpool skidded to a stop sideways, rolled down the windows, watches the missile whiz through the compartment of the truck, explode harmlessly like a few yards away, and then turns his head back towards Bullseye and frowns. And then you see Bullseye just kind of say to himself quietly, "Yeah, okay, that was kind of cool."
It's like the impossible movie shit in Deadpool could get away with it.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, there was one segment in there where he was shot through the head with an arrow, and after he pulled out the arrow, the yellow boxes came back. He started saying, "Oh, thank God, my brain's back together." Well, not entirely. What does that mean? And then there's the second voice that goes, "Garble flip purple dog like shoes and stuff."
I think we pierced one of the tumors.
Yeah, and then the yellow boxes says, "Yeah, some parts are still kind of under construction." So, yeah, I will, get your hands on 15 through 18 of Deadpool so you can take a look. I need to make notes as to what characters are in this and how many roles there are, because you can tell we're going to be pulling multiple duty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
I have an idea for... If Cyclops is in there, I have an idea for that one. It's...
I have a couple ideas of impersonations I do. Not very good ones, per se, but
I don't...
they can get me through some stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. We still have to set a date, too, but we can do that a little bit further down the road. So I invite you to tune in next week. I'm going to be recording a show from Kamikaze. Jesse, it better be there.
I hope I'm there.
If not, I'm going to talk to a couple people. After that, we're going to be off for a week since V's on vacation and Steve's working. And then we'll be back with the first 6 issues of the first run of the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel. Thank you very much. I appreciate you tuning in. Have a great one. I am Jeremy.
Jesse.
And V.
Don't jerk and drive. Enjoy your weekend.